Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Biafra is proud to launch its new mobile app. This app makes it easier for listeners to access live and repeat broadcasts at any given time. The app is available on Android and Apple stores and is free to install, so just search for Radio Biafra into all one word to get the app on your device.
Radio Biafra International broadcasts are always anchored on well-researched information and not based on personalities, frivolities, and foul languages. The main objective of Radio Biafra International is to empower Biafrans and give them knowledge through professionally delivered information, education, and enlightenment towards the ultimate goal of restoration of the nation of Biafra.
So don't forget, Radio Biafra into all one word.
And join us during our podcasts, and you'll be glad you did.
Stop spending time with the wrong people. Life is too short to spend time with people who suck the happiness out of you. If someone wants you in their life, they'll make room for you. You shouldn't have to fight for a spot. Never ever insist yourself to someone who continuously overlooks your worth. And remember, it's not the people that stand by your side when you're at your best, but the ones who stand beside you when you're at your worst that are your true friends. Stop trying to be someone you're not. One of the greatest challenges in life is being yourself in a world that's trying to make you like everyone else. Someone will always be prettier. Someone will always be smarter. Someone will always be younger. But they will never be you. Don't change so people will like you. Be yourself, and the right people will love the real you. Stop trying to hold on to the past. You cannot start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. Stop being scared to make a mistake. Doing something and getting it wrong is at least 10 times more productive than doing nothing. Every success has a trail of failures behind it, and every failure is leading towards success. You end up regretting the things you did not do far more than the things you did. Stop getting involved in relationships for the wrong reasons. Relationships must be chosen wisely. It is better to be alone than to be in bad company. There's no need to rush. If something is meant to be, it will happen at the right time, with the right person, and for the best reason. Stop rejecting new relationships just because old ones didn't work. In life, you'll realize that there's a purpose for everyone you meet. Some will test you, some will use you, and some will teach you. But most importantly, some will bring out the best in you. Stop trying to compensate against things that are not there. And stop trying to compete against everyone else. Don't worry about what others are doing better than you. Concentrate on beating your own records every day. Success is a battle between you and yourself only. I just have to repeat this. This warrants a repeat. Stop trying to compete against everyone else. Don't worry about what others are doing better than you. Concentrate on beating your own records every day. Success is a battle between you and yourself only. Life is too short to spend time with people who suck the happiness out of you. If someone wants you in their life, they'll make room for you. You shouldn't have to fight for a spot. Never, ever insist yourself to someone who continuously overlooks your worth. And remember, it's not the people that stand by your side when you're at your best, but the ones who stand beside you when you're at your worst that are your true friends.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Good morning, good morning, good morning from over here, United States of America. Good afternoon, good evening, those of you who are listening to Radio Biafra International. Today is Juneteenth in the United States, and this is a day of celebrating the freedom that came to Africans who journeyed across the Atlantic Ocean, unbelievable, in their millions, into different continents to be oppressed. And because of actions of our ancestors as well, not just the Europeans, it took also our ancestors, whatever they were doing. And it's amazing that problem, the legacy of that problem still lingers today. So good morning, everybody. And this is Radio Biafra International, brought to you by Biafran Restoration Movement. And you can get us through different platforms, such as internet, Facebook, YouTube, RBi App, Tunin App for RBI and satellite. This is an age of communication, even though in a place like Nigeria, they are trying to ban communication. That's like set the clock back, and so you can always get us through these channels. And just simply Googling Radio Biafra International, you'll be able to access, our broadcasts, even the past broadcasts. If you do so, we thank you for always joining us and listening to our broadcasts. The broadcasts that come from very tedious work in terms of information, because we believe that information is indeed power, that we act based on how we are informed. How we make our decisions based on the information that's available to us. So we want our people to be very well informed so they can make the best decisions that are in their interest. First of all, not just in the interest of God that created them first, and then that is in their interest. My name is Odi Moalu, and I'm your broadcast anchor today. And with me will be, as usual, an array of educated and informed Biafran panelists who will join me, and panelists like Chuksi Kerigwe, Jofo Chinawata, Oziomeme, we have a Kameflo Kandu, who might be joining me later. They are there because they inform, they help to inform and educate and persuade, which is the objective and aim of the organization, to persuade towards righteousness. So we enjoy you to always listen to us. We expect to bring a broadcast on pertinent and relevant issues in our lives and times. As always, we are faithful to that. We thank God that we've been faithful to that so far. We also thank God that we've been faithful to so many things that God has exposed us to, diplomatic programs, diplomatic attempts, and other things, other ones which I cannot mention on air, but we have been able to do things that are seminal to the cause of Biafra. This is the Biafra Restoration Movement, and it's to the glory of God. So we cannot take the glory ourselves. It's just to the glory of God. As we have always told you, that without God, it will not be possible. And that is why we enjoin our people to, we are Israelites, to do what Israelites do, particularly when they're in trouble, but also to eschew anything that will put us in trouble in future, or put generations to come in future. Because the standard you set today is not just that you set the standard. We set the standard, but we must be able to bequeath it to posterity, to those who are coming. We all have a time to live on earth, and then we go. So we have to do everything. And that standard is the standard of the Bible. Let me tell you right now, it is the standard. If you don't do that, now tori or story where your descendants going to talk. Oh, this person oppressed me. Oh, this one did one to me. That's because you have veered out of the will of God. You have not obeyed his commandments. You have learned from other people whom you think that what they have is better than yours, but is not in the actuality. And because of that, you have drifted into iniquity. You have drifted into a society that upholds and exalts all manner of unrighteousness. And this has assailed our society, and we want it cleansed by the Spirit of God so that we can be free. God is going to set us free. So, as usual, as is with our tradition, we always say a prayer too. And I love always saying this prayer. That is why I always have it here. Luke 1:68-75. From the New International Version of the greatest book on earth ever written. A book with power in it. Power. The words there are just power because they affect lives always. And it is really the message direct from the Creator of heaven and earth. And am I just saying it as words? No, has been tested and found to be true. And we have always asked our critics, hand us over your own book. Let us compare. And behold, they always run away. They'll shut up and run away. That's what happens usually, So, and we like it because we have applied it and found it to be true, found it to be effective. So I will start this prayer by saying in Luke 1:68-75, praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, because he has come to his people and redeemed them. He has raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he said through his holy prophets of long ago. And who's that horn? The horn is our Lord Yeshua HaMashiach, whom you call Jesus Christ. Horn is a symbolism of strength in ancient Israel and in their theology and philosophy. So horn is a symbol of strength. And that strength, nobody can defeat this horn. And it says for the salvation from our enemies, that's it right there, salvation from our enemies and from the hand of all who hate us, to show mercy to our ancestors. Yes, because also our ancestors did certain things that they should not do. That was why they were out of Israel. They were sent out. God told them, if you do and you violate my covenant is Ibando in Igbo. If you violate my covenant, violate my laws, you will be cast out of this land, will cast you out. And in Igbo, we say in Igbo, and it happened. They did that. If you read the book of Kings and Chronicles, you find that there. And because of it, we came and eventually we sojourned in the lower sides and the both sides of the lower Niger, the river Niger, which was the second to the longest river in Africa, which is Nile. And it says salvation from our enemies and from the hand of all who hate us, to show mercy to our ancestors and to remember his holy covenant. His holy covenant. There's a holy covenant which we signed up with God. Our ancestors did, and it's following us everywhere. The oath he swore to our father Abraham. Abraham is our father. I mean, by flesh, that's what we're talking about. The ancestry, that's it. And there is something to that. And in spirit, of course. To rescue us from the hand of our enemies and to enable us to serve him without fear. The reason why we have to be saved by God is so we can serve him. It's not that we gloat because of the blessings he gave to us to be successful. And then we just say, oh yeah, we did this, we did. Not you. You have to give the glory to God. It is important that we do that as a people, because let me tell you the truth. When you begin to channel that glory to yourself, the next generation will fall into something, because they're going to learn from you. Remember, your children are watching you. They're watching. So it's what you do that they will do. So they will pick it up and then begin to glorify. We have the best educated people. We have the this and that and that. We have, okay, who made it possible? It was because of gift of God to you, not because you're that smart. So, please let us be humble people. Because and understand the source of that. It's a blessing, but that blessing is there so we can share it with others, and because of it, glow as a light to the world. And when they ask you, how are you able to make it? Say it is God. It is God that made me able to do that. That's how they fear that God. That's how they worship the God of Israel, to whom your ancestors have a covenant. And if you don't do that, they will now the glory. You take the glory, and when you do so, you know what's going to attract. What's going to come next? Envy. When that envy comes after that plot, they will start plotting against, and then we begin to cry again. Oh, Nemo, Chimo, Ifefa Melanio, this one, that one. We begin to cry. So do what is right spiritually, and that is why we are sharing this with you. So to rescue us from the hand of our enemies, and which will be done by God Himself, and He's doing that, and to enable us to serve Him without fear, we have to serve Him. We have to serve Him in holiness and righteousness before Him all our days, because we must serve in fear, in holiness and righteousness. Without that holiness and righteousness, well, you are not serving. That's what it means, you know. So, and it goes further to say in 77, to give His people the knowledge of salvation, the knowledge of salvation. If He's talking about the knowledge, there is a knowledge we will receive that is of salvation from His word. And if we don't have it, we will not have that knowledge of salvation. It's true, you know, through the forgiveness of their sins, through the forgiveness of our sins that needs to be forgiven. We also ask Him, because of the tender mercy of our God, His tender mercy, by which the rising sun will come to us from heaven. The rising sun, that's where you can relate that to Biafra. By which the rising sun will come to us from heaven. The rising sun is coming. Biafra is coming to us. From where? From heaven. It is not coming from man. It's not coming from institutions, from UN, from US, from UK, from you this and you that, USSR, you that. No, it's coming from God. It's coming from heaven to shine on those living in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace. Praise be to the Lord God Almighty, the maker of heaven and earth. You know, amen and amen. I love that. I love the word of God is sweet to our ears. And the evil and the wicked men do not love it, I'm telling you, because they worship themselves. The Bible says in Psalms, I think 14:6, you know, and it says something like, there, you know, it says, a fool says to himself, there is no God. A fool, you know, people think that it's just name calling. Oh yeah, he's calling name. No, it's not name calling. He's what he is. A fool says this. He believes that there's no judgment, that is what he wants and his desires and his interests, then he pursues it like crazy. And you wonder why even when when they get those things, their life is misery, because they don't see spiritually. They only see physically. You see, that's the problem. The materialism is when you are all looking at materials. What you have, as that, you know, that's it. You know, everything is influence. It determines what you do. And that is what the typical Biafran is not. It's not that at all. So it is the fear of God, not of men, that must govern a Biafran heart. The fear of God, not of men. We don't fear men, whoever they are. We do not fear them. We fear God. The Bible says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. The beginning of it, though. So you can imagine what's happening to those who are not fearing Him. That means they are lost completely. I'm telling you. And sometimes you see them in the world, they display their own things as if, you know, but if you look behind the thing, it is vain. You know, they depend on vanity, because whatever they are displaying as wisdom is vain before God. It doesn't mean anything. And time always proves it. So if you're looking at so simply what your Bible does and what you're seeing, you're making a mistake. The Bible says there's a way that seemeth right to man, but the end thereof is death. That part is something else in Proverbs. It seemed right to him. It's a way. Yeah, I looked at it. It was fantastic. Is anything wrong with this way? No. And because we're looking at it, that's true. You know. So why wouldn't we take it? Then they take it. But the end, they never thought about the end. You see how the word of God works? That when you're doing something, you don't, the end thereof. And that's what Jesus Christ said. I am the way. There's a way. But He told you I'm the way. Nobody's ever talked like Him before on earth. I'm the way, the truth, and life. Nobody till today. Nobody has the guts to even say that. Even Muhammad couldn't. Nobody couldn't. Only Him. And His power has been displayed today. He came to sacrifice Himself as a lamb for our salvation. But remember, He's not just only a lamb. He's the Lion of the tribe of Judah. He's also a lion. So don't characterize Him only as a lamb and say that all you have to do is to act like a lamb. He came there for a mission. That's it. The second time, nobody's going to. It will be this. Oh, well, you're going to see the power of God. You're going to see how He will destroy His enemies. That's the point. So those who tell you that God is simply pacifist, is a pacifist, is peaceful, and over there, no, God is also has to do with judgment. And when he comes, that sometimes he destroys everything. Once he destroyed the whole world and destroyed all those people who don't believe. So let us preach the true gospel for those who are Christians. Stop preaching one-sided simply to make, and that's why we fight too. We fight like him. The Bible says that God is a God of war in Exodus 15:3. So we do fight like him. We fight. We fight as Biafrans. We fight as children of Israel. We fight. I mean, and I don't mean just fight, spiritual fight. We put our faith in action. We carry AK-47. We blow up the people who decide to kill us. We fight them because it will be wickedness to stand there and watch them kill innocent people and continue to kill innocent people. That is very completely wrong. Nobody does that. Like I said before, you were not created by the government. Your creator is God. Government was created by people. And even in America, in their constitution, they said that, look, this constitution and government is created by the people. And if they don't like it, they can amend it, they can restructure it, or they can abolish it. Because the government is created to serve the people, not the people who serve the government. And also, it's created by the people. The sovereignty belongs to the people. It is not to the government. And also, it's same with the law. Law comes from people. Law comes out of conscience. So, because we want to do what is fair and set standards and principles that are fair in a society. So when that law now is not serving us, that's why we amend laws. If we were perfect, we would not need to amend them. But because they are not perfect, we amend them, and sometimes we abolish them if they are not useful to us any longer. So let nobody use government and law to intimidate you towards demanding for what is right. And we can see the government, this government that is in Nigeria, is busy criminalizing human rights and those who are asking for their freedom. And this is a government that is a government of terrorists. And we are not saying terrorists because we want to call names. We're calling terrorists because, after all, the president himself is a member of EUTELSAT, designated in Global Terrorist Index as the fourth deadliest terrorist organization in the world. Then the Fulani people, they are designated by the Global Terrorist Index. And these are done by international organizations who are neutral, who are not taking sides. So they said this is the fourth worst terrorist organization. I think now is the third. And the president of a country is their patron. And the Sultan of Sokoto is their grand patron. So that these are terrorists. You're looking, the Sultan is a terrorist. They are government, because you're working with them. They are using public money that came from Biafra land, from oil in Biafra land. They use them buy weapons to kill Biafrans. You can imagine the violation, the enormity of wickedness which these people are perpetrating in the face of the world, and they have the gods to come out and talk about bounty on the heads of one of our own. We will put a bounty of, I don't know. I think to myself, we should put a bounty, double that amount, and put a bounty on the head of that president and the head of Sultan of Sokoto, who are leading all this Islamic conquest rubbish that is going on everywhere and in Nigeria. That the Fulani people have been able to kill people in all the 36 states of this of this country called Nigeria, and they have refused to do anything about them. They are rather proscribing innocent people, killing them, doing all kinds of. So you have the army. That's why the armies and the military has been almost Islamized completely. They are terrorists there. They set Boko Haram people free and induct them into, and then send them in uniform to come and kill us. That's why they are doing what they're doing. The army is not supposed to be killing their citizens after all. And remember, this happened in 1966. It happened in 1966. The army, first of all, went out killing people, innocent people. So who is held accountable for that? And then today, Nigerians don't want you to say anything about the war or anything. They don't want you to raise it up at all. All they look in the media is how to now criminalize the East again. Then you see them in Arise News, Good Morning Nigeria, all kinds of programs they have. These are Tinubu stations and Nigerian stations, NTA, and all the rest of them. They try to criminalize the Igbo, giving a dog a bad name to hang it, But, I'll tell them they hung that dog before, but that dog resurrected. That dog is like a phoenix. It's now resurrected again. It's indestructible because of the hand of God upon the dog. And this cannot happen again. They are jokers. They cannot. These people are nothing short of wicked and evil. That is why you see people like Ruben Abati, who will continue to insinuate him and his gang to insinuate to people that the problem in this country is Southeast, whereas we know there are destructions all over Nigeria, and those destructions have been in the north, has come from the north. Governors are supporting Boko Haram, all those senators and so on. They are political, northern Islamic political, traditional religious leaders are backing up these terrorist groups. We have seen even the president as part of them. It is very clear there. No, they don't have a problem with that. The Nigerian government, they won't question the Nigerian government regarding that. No, it is Southeast. So that they want to, confuse you again, so that you can all gather together against ISIS because of envy. It is envy. They are jaundiced people. They are demonized people. They don't want progress. Oh, somebody progress. They do it in their families. I'm telling you, it is in their life. When somebody is progressing, all the rest will gather again out of envy and want to kill him. Or sometimes associate and kill him. This is what you see where darkness is. You don't want somebody else to progress. Why not? If your brother or your neighbor is progressive, isn't that something that is good for you? It's always good because there's some good that you benefit for it. No, you want him. If you eliminate that person, how do you get that progress again? They will and they remain in poverty. It happens in our families. It happens in families. I mean, even in Biafra land. That is why we're against this type of evil and this case of thinking, this mentality. What type of nonsense is that? What you want, is it not progress? That's why they are progressive. So, excuse me, support them. That's how you bring light into a society. That is how you set so many people free. Not by being envious, not by being callous towards that person or towards those people, but we see it in Nigeria. And the Fulani represents that very clearly. That's what you can see. They want to use the pretext of herding animals, a practice that has been outdated completely, to use it to come and annex our land and all the crimes they've committed. The police and the army do not hold them guilty. They don't arrest them. They don't even, that's it. They go after innocent people to kill them. Can you imagine that? They go after innocent, young Biafran demonstrators, shoot them to death. This is the kind of animals. And like I said, I don't want to insult animals. Sub-animals that you have in Nigeria who are in power, who wear military uniforms, and you go and respect them. You go and respect them. It shows who you are as a person. It shows who you are inside you. They will fall. You will see the day some of them will be tried and put in handcuffs. Those generals and all those people. Yes. May God keep you alive so you can see it. You can understand eventually that evil does not never wins. It never. Go to the history of this earth and read if you can read global history, you do that and you can be able to understand what I'm saying. Eventually it will fall because it's evil. That's it. So will Islam fall because it is evil. There is no reason why a man who has robbed caravans, an armed robber, practice armed robbery himself, raping people, sleeping with a girl who is 9 years old, a small girl, young of his cohort, a daughter of his cohort, 65 words, and then their followers lie that he was a peaceful man. They lie. These are the value system with which they are ruling Nigeria. Lying left and right and center. And when people speak the truth, oh no, they have a problem. You have to ban Twitter. You have to ban Facebook. You have to ban this and that and that. You have social media. How do we do to shut social media down? These are the dunderheads that you have who are running a government in these modern times in 2021. And you think you can survive with people who think this way? You know that is impossible if you're a civilized person because they are very uncivilized. And it's evident in their own decisions and their actions. So, when justice becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. When injustice, becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. So we must know that our peoples are entitled to their inherent inalienable rights to self-determination and dignity of their persons in accordance with Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human and People's Rights of 1948, Article 20 of the African Charter of Human and People's Rights, Article 1 of the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, and the International Convention on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. We must understand these rights, and we must obviously embrace them. It must now be obvious to anybody, even to the strongest contestants of its veracity, that the genocidal war against Biafra between 1967 and 1970 never ended. We still have no other options in the face of relentless abuse of our rights and threats to slaughter us in our own homes, which they actually do, but to defend ourselves. What do we defend ourselves? Bare hands? Is your self-defense not a right? Is self-defense not a right? That's a question I'm asking those who have the guts, the temerity to even raise their voice against Biafrans. How dare you raise your voice against what Biafrans are doing, defending the people who are defending themselves? Where were you to bring justice to those who have killed, those who have been violated in various ways and shapes of forms? There is no justice. You didn't prevent it. You did not bring justice to them, but now they're defending themselves. You have a problem. You are sick mentally, and I'm telling you that. Please, my brother, please, my sister, go and seek help, because what you are doing is you're supporting evil, and God will punish you dearly for that. God will punish you dearly for that. You have not stood up for righteousness. So, Nigerian government, in an addictive perpetration of its recidivist atrocities, and I call it recidivist because they have always done that in the past, yet exhibits crude passion in pursuit of this pernicious goal, the goal to destroy and subjugate our people, subjugate and destroy them by any means necessary. And that goal we reject in totality. There is no way we can accept to be slaves to all of them. Who are the Fulani who are doing all this stuff? The people who don't have a land in Nigeria. There is no place like Fulani land, and they are taking it by force. They are sacking people over Middle Belt, all over the north, killing them, taking over the land, renaming the lands after their own names. Can you imagine that? And all of you are accepting that? Then they go and bring Igbo to stir up your envy again. Igbo, they have property everywhere. I spoke to some elders in the South. Well, the South is responding to you now. What do you have to spoke to some elders in the South, and they said, they are just a dot in a circle. Like if he says it will become a dot in a circle. Just because you're saying it does not mean it will happen, because that's not reality. Yeah. Oh, it is 5 southeastern states. This is colonial British and Fulani Nigerian target of reducing, trying to make us look small on the map. Yeah. Very soon you hear it's not be 5 southeast, it will be 3 southeastern states. They're just 3. The others are Imo and Abia, south. That we have south now. Because in Nigeria they do crazy things. Very soon it will be only Anambra left. Only oh, look at Igbo, the others are not Igbo. This is what you see them do. Igbo are indigenous to actually 16 states. 16. Right now they're talking about 14. The other 2, I think, they talk about it will come later on. But let's use the 14, because they are a little bit minuscule in the other 2. And there are very historical links to why they are not indigenous. I mean indigenous. They are not just settlers or, travelers who move around us. No. This is where they're indigenous in 14 states. So if you're saying they are just in 5 states, where are the other 9? Where are the other 9 states? They don't want to mention it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about Kogi, the Igala. There are people, bloodline. They are, they don't want to talk about Benue State. Are people who are there? No. Oh, no. Our people are even in, let me tell you, our people are even in Nasarawa. Indigenous. But time is coming, and they're Niger State, indigenous, for your information. Yes. And we have done that series here in Radio Biafra International. And we'll do more as time goes on. But we will go to the news of the day and highlight certain things that are going on. Fulanization agenda. Before I call Trixie Kediwe to analyze this, I will want to read out the information, and that is to highlight certain things that are still going on, to keep us abreast of it. The consciousness, because the problem that we have is consciousness. It's okay to know something, but when you have consciousness in something, you have interest in it, it drives you. It drives you. You have passion associated to it. That is consciousness. Consciousness is not just knowing something. You can know something. Yes, I know it. But there's nothing you're doing. What makes you to move about it is passion. That drive, that is the consciousness, makes you to have passion and then drives you to begin to be active about what you believe in. You see that? So knowing something is not enough. We need consciousness. So knowing Biafra is not enough, or being a Biafran is not enough. You need the consciousness of being a Biafran, so you can be able to activate yourself. That consciousness activates you towards walking towards the complete freedom of Biafra, where those who are occupying our land, who are occupiers of our land, will leave us alone. That's it. And it is our right. It's not a crime to ask for your freedom. It's not a crime to say, I don't want to associate with somebody anymore. That's not a crime. So why are they criminalizing it? Why is Nigeria criminalizing Biafra? Why is it? That's why people went out to demonstrate and shot them dead. Nobody's held accountable. And I say it is our own duty to do something about this as Biafrans, and we are. And our God is with us, and shall deliver us by the power of his right hand. And for those of you who are subscribing to Fulanocracy, government of the Fulani, by the Fulani, and for the Fulani, Fulanocracy, I warn you, stop subscribing to evil. Stop supporting what is evil. You know, the Nigerian government is a terrorist government, and it has occupation forces. So those of you also who are serving in the government and the Fulani is using you, just like he's using our governors, for example. But I'm asking other ethnic groups, when Fulani does this conquering, you know, let's say Fulani succeed, but he will not with Biafra, so forget it. But he succeeded in some parts of it, in Middle Belt and all the rest. If Fulani succeeds in conquering you, who will rule who? Will you rule Fulani or Fulani will rule you? That's the question you have to ask yourself. So you find out whether what you're doing is that you're just there serving your enemy. You are not doing anything to undermine him and cause him to fall, cause him, make sure that, because it's by falling that you get your freedom, you know, and equality. So it is important at this point that we also warn Biafrans, you know, and those who are being hurt, record all those in Middle Belt, in the West, Southwest, in the North. You know, there are Christian communities in the North. You know, they're ravaging the place, indigenous people, you know. So you must report abductions and torture and extortion or rape. You must take records of them, publish them. And it's also disappearance. You have to publish them. We need records on what is actually going on in your communities. We need them. Keep those records, because they'll be used for when International Criminal Court will arraign all these military leaders and possibly this imposter president, you know, arraign him there in handcuffs. Yeah, that's how we hauled in there, so that he can, be accountable to his own regime. That is what it should be. So, but for you must build communities and cities and build organizations that, you know, give you self-help and self-defense. The Fulani killings have gone on for nearly 2 decades now, 20 years on a constant basis. And somebody has the temerity to come out here and talk about Biafrans. Somebody has, you know, look at the media. These people are so insolent that you don't know what to do when you look at them sometimes, you know. And then they have a problem when we state that they will learn a lesson of their lives. God will teach them a lesson, you know. God will strengthen our hands, and they will learn the lesson that they need to learn. You cannot continue to abuse others and on top of it accuse them. You know, that's a sort of remarkable evil. That's worse than witchcraft. You know, so you have to build communities. We're asking our people work. We have a defense mechanism. Call meetings. You know, stop just acting as if nothing is happening. I'll go about my business. Oh, I'm going to do this and that. Nobody is calling a meeting. Nobody is talking about how to secure yourselves and communities. Do something that makes sense. Stop calling on the government to save you, because you know that government is the person who is sending the Fulani this thing. As they're covering them, they're one is sending killers to kill their citizens. It's a Fulani conquest program agenda, which we have seen going on. And you see them still speaking in the media, isn't it? They're bold enough after doing all this thing to come out there and talk. That tells you the devil's type of devil you're dealing with. You know, even in the Christian circles, they call it principalities and powers. So that is what you have to understand. And that helps you to understand how determined you should be to make sure that these people are ravaged and brought down. They are nothing but demonic. I think when we take demonic, we say it is worse than demonic. How do you unleash a people and they are killing people everywhere? And you have the mouth, you have the boldness to come on media and be talking to them again. This is Fulani for you. And Nigerians are there looking. Look at, what type of people are you? What type of people are you? What has gone into you? What has gone into you? If we're in climes where people are sane, because it looks like Nigerians are somehow insane too, I'm telling you, that government will not last 1 week. Well, you don't do that type of thing. You don't think of it. You never. So, don't stop fighting for Fulani, because they will rule over you afterwards. You're fighting for them. They'll put you into fourth-class citizen. Mess you up as they're messing Nigeria up right now. As you can see, they've always been a problem in Nigeria right from 1960. And you know that. So as you go to this business, and the British work with them to place them in that position. That's why we're suffering. And today, even a governor is pointing out why they are the problem of the ethnic crisis in Nigeria. And that governor is Governor Tom. In Benue State, the last time I checked, they now had 1.2 million people in IDP camps, in internally displaced persons camps, as refugees. Let's call them refugees. That's what they are in their own land, because the Fulani terrorists have sacked them from their communities, from their villages, from their towns, and it's amazing. And they become IDPs. And they go to where they are IDPs to and kill them right there. We have seen the governor comment about that. Now they're 1.2 million. And eventually, for those of us who are in the East, we have to also understand that this 1.2, if it continues to pile, guess where they're going to pour in? They're going to pour into Anambra. They're going to pour into Enugu. Let us pay attention and stop simply concentrating everything on yourself. Don't make you a human being. Pay attention to other things, because eventually this stuff will come to you anyways. But don't be selfish. That's not where God has created you to be. Don't live against it, because I'm telling you, after every other thing, you will, even if it's materialism, that whatever is pushing you to think the way you do us, you will end up being very, very unhappy. I'm telling you, you find out that peace doesn't come from being materialistic, material things. I live in the United States. I have seen where people who have money, even in Hollywood, and you see them, they die, they shoot themselves on the head, take a gun, shoot themselves. They do drugs and die off. And you check the money they have in their account, guess what? They say, oh, he's worth $300 million. He was, and you ask yourself, well, why? I thought money was the thing. If once you have you will see that it's not the thing. They build 20 rooms. Okay, stay in your 20 room now. It will very soon the place becomes like a haunted house. You begin to see that life is not just things. Life is about your relationship with human beings, and it's your relationship, first, most importantly, your relationship with your maker, with God, then with human beings. Once you fail there, I'm telling you, you will be miserable. I haven't seen anybody who failed in that too and succeeded on this earth. I read about their lives. I study that too, as much as I can, to get the background, and also think of myself, where is this coming from? Bill Gates is worth 53 billion. How old is he? How much longer will he live? Do you think he's going to live with that money? That money is going to be spent by other people. So what you're making too is you're making it for other people. Anyways, when they die, you finish your son or something. If you have too much money, sell it out. Sell them out as cheap this thing. People will buy it as and use. So stop wasting your time about this life, about trying to possess a city. They give you a city, then what? You move around from pillar to post and you start fighting for another city until you go. Then the whole thing dissolves, everybody takes everything back again. Just like empires, that is how they have gone. That is how also this government will go down. So why don't you stand on what is right? Why don't you help those who are fighting to protect you? Those who are in the bush, do something. Speak out for them. Encourage them. Give DSN is there fighting for you. Yeah, the UGM, they are there. Stop joining people and say, oh, but he's killing the police. Oh, but he's killing the army. What about the people the army and police have been killing for decades? For decades. Where is justice for them? Is that what the police and army is supposed to do? And they're killing people extrajudicially today in our land. They go there, pull people out from the house, mother, son, What happened in Obibo? A weekend sent soldiers went there and killed nearly hundreds of people. What did those people do? Where was the trial for that? They were not arrested and prosecuted? No. And then those who were arrested were taken to Niger State, some to Bagwalada in Abuja. Our women were being raped. by these animals. You call police and this thing. What did you do? I'm asking you, who's talking about we are killing police. What did you do about what that army and police were doing? You didn't do anything. It's only when they pick guns and that you begin to talk. There is a demon in you without your knowing. You are devilish without your knowing that. No, nobody can allow anybody else to come in and be killing them because they have uniform. It is not right, and you know that. So if you can't stop them, don't blame anybody who's fighting for his life. People cannot be fighting for their lives and you're blaming them. You're blaming victims. Something is wrong with you, seriously, honestly. This is not the path to follow. What is the sense of judgment in that? You cannot deliver them from people killing them, but you are fighting them. You are criticizing them for trying to save their lives. You know that Boko Haram were released. This is number one terrorist organization in the world. And most of them released by Buhari, who is working with them. That's why we call him a terrorist. And then he pushes all of them in the army and so on and so forth. They've killed so many soldiers even there because they're Christian soldiers. And then after inducting them into the army and police, they send them down to the east to come and kill innocent people. These are terrorists whom you yourself know you cannot challenge. You don't even challenge them. You're weak to challenge them. You're weak to speak, even too weak to speak up against them. What is in your heart, really? What is going on inside you that makes you not speak against evil? That makes you rather look for the weak person to attack? What is in you that makes you go for the weak, that makes you go for the victim? What is in you that makes you do that? That thing is not of God. Please repent. You need a serious repentance in you so that you can understand that we stand up against evil. That is true. Even in the Bible, there are political regimes. The prophets stood up against political regimes. Prophet Isaiah, Prophet Jeremiah. Yeah, the political regimes. Some of them were killed. You know, Jesus said they'll kill the prophets, isn't it? And they killed him too, isn't it? Yeah, because he spoke the truth. So, but at the end of the day, did they win? No. At the end of the day, God's punishment came. So as it's coming on Nigeria anyway already, it's now the poverty capital of the world. Yeah, guess what's happening? It's going to be placed. It's going to be ravaged completely. Because these people are working with those people they call bandits, Fulani bandits, who are fighting to take over the lands. They brought them in from Niger, from Mali, from Chad, from different places, opened the borders. The borders have always been open once you have Islamic leaders in Nigeria. That's been open. They come across it. That's why the fathers of some of your head of states, former head of states, come from Niger and so on and so on, so forth. So their roots are over there. Their cousins and everything are there. So they cross over. And that is why the creation of boundary by the colonists is completely wrong. So, and they have different value system from you. So you cannot live in peace with them. It's not possible. Because what you see as right, they see as wrong. What you see as wrong, they see as right. How do you live in peace with that kind of person? No. So what you do is you say, well, we have to divide. You have to go your way, and I go my way, so there can be peace. Now they have the temerity to come and take your land. Can you imagine that? Can you think of any other ethnic group in Nigeria trying to take somebody else's land? No other. Only Fulani people can do that. And that's what they're doing. And nobody is stopping them. Nobody whatsoever. To the extent this governor is crying out. And I read here in Vanguard, it says, Fulanization agenda fueling ethnic crisis and secessionist agitations. I don't call it secession, I call it self-determination agitations. So don't use secessionists. They like words that try to criminalize somebody asking for his right. To ask him for self-determination is not a criminal act. It's your right. The criminal act is trying to stop people from asking for self-determination, trying to intimidate them, killing them in it. So the government is the criminals. They are the ones who are criminalizing those who are asking for their right. And it wants to do. So he said, I will reshape it. It says, Fulanization agenda fueling ethnic crisis, self-determination agitations in Nigeria. Autumn. Let's read this. And it was for June 18, 2020. It says here, Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State has identified open grazing by herdsmen and Fulanization agenda of Fulani nationalities across the globe to make Nigeria their own country as the major factor fueling ethnic conflicts in Nigeria. This is a governor in Nigeria telling you that. The former army chief himself, Theophilus Danjuma, who has served them in the past, had also told you that. So I don't know what else people need to be convinced and to become active in resisting what is going on. He further said, he also blamed the raging secessionist agitation in parts of the country on the repulsive agenda, as well as the obvious injustice. Like I just said, it's not raging secessionist, it's raging self-determination agitations in parts of the country on the repulsive agenda, as well as the obvious injustice, lack of fairness and equity in appointments and citing of projects in total disregard to the principles of federal character as enshrined in the Constitution, as factors fanning the embers of crisis and disunity in the country. And this thing what breaks my heart is that the money that they're using to cite these projects in like breathing the rail into Maradin in Nigeria so that they can easily bring the terrorists in to take over the land, because that's why they're building that rail into Maradin, Nigeria, so that they can now all hop in there and then have a fast move into Nigeria so that the taking of land has gone. Recently, we saw some of them captured in a lorry. They're still bringing them in, and they are going to Imo State. Can you imagine that? These are terrorists. They said they didn't find arms with them. They supply arms with helicopters to them. We all know this. So have you seen the army ever go after the Fulani who are carrying AK-47? No, they don't do that because they work with them. And then they want you to fold your hands and die and be killed by these people. Because of what? Because there's something called government. That thing is not government anymore. Government has its duty, and once it's not doing its duty of protecting the people, once it has been seized and hijacked, as Fulani has done in the Nigerian government, and is used to kill people, used to take up their lands and so on, it is your duty to resist that government. That government is not yours anymore. You reject it. We reject Nigerian government. It's not part of us. We are Biafrans, we've said it before. Why you force unity on people? That's what shows it's wrong. So they are not even respecting us because they get their resources, the money comes from our land. No, they don't do that. They kill us. I don't know how to say. Sometimes I get dumbfounded. All right, let's go on with this information. It says he also blamed the raging secessionist agitations in parts of the, again, self-determination agitations in parts of the country on the repulsive agenda, as well as the obvious injustice, lack of fairness and equity in appointments and citing of projects in total disregard to the principles of federal character as enshrined in the Constitution as factors fanning the embers of the crisis and disunity in the country. The governor made this known Friday in his keynote address at the 2021 Law Week at the Nigerian Bar Association Makurdi branch with the theme Open Grazing in Nigeria, Threat to National and Food Security, National Cohesion and Sustainable Development. Tom, who accused the presidency of a hidden agenda, wondered what informed President Muhammadu Buhari's decision to opt for open grazing and grazing rights when ranching is the global best practice in animal husbandry and also remains the panacea to the lingering herdsmen crisis in the country. Yeah, he's still supporting open grazing because it is a pretext to conquest. It's a pretext to burying the Quran in the sea. So they are not and there's nothing they are doing that is not in the open there. The only problem now is why our people are not activated. Like I said, why are you not conscious enough to begin to act towards it? You need that consciousness, very important. Just like you need the consciousness of God to worship God. You cannot, this Bible says something about those who come to God must believe that he is, and he's a rewarder of those who earnestly seek him. If you don't do that honestly, you cannot get the response or the results you want. That is the problem. You need consciousness towards Biafra. You need consciousness towards God. You need consciousness towards Biafra. And even that consciousness towards Biafra, finding Biafra is consciousness towards God, because that means you have consciousness for righteousness, for what is right. That's it. So, according to him, in Nigeria, open grazing has been the practice of livestock production. However, in recent times, the livestock production system has led to conflicts between farmers and herders. This is due largely to population growth, infrastructural development, and increased economic activities, and above all, the Fulanization agenda of Fulani nationalities worldwide to make Nigeria their own country. Yeah, I'm using Otom because of the source and because of his significant position as a governor, so that those who are critics of Biafra will not say, "Oh well, these Biafrans are just saying this." This is Igbo agenda and so on and so forth. So now you see it. He's a governor of Benue State, Otom. He's not Igbo. He's not Biafran. So that you can, across Nigeria, open grazing has led to the invasion of farming communities by Fulani herdsmen, leading to massive killing and maiming of people, raping of women, destruction of property, loss of livelihood, and displacement of persons. This is what I will say that again. I will read this again. Quote, across Nigeria, open grazing has led to the invasion of farming communities by Fulani herdsmen. By who? By Fulani herdsmen. By Fulani herdsmen. By Fulani herdsmen, leading to massive killings. Leading to massive killings. These people are mass murderers. This is what it's saying. Maiming of people, maiming a lot, raping women, destruction of property, loss of livelihoods, and displacement of persons. And displacement of persons. This is Otom himself speaking, and you can see, obviously, that this is evident fact all across the country. But what do you see happen? The president does not speak to them in a language they understand. Does this president speak to them in the language they understand? Yeah, you don't talk about them as a dot. And yeah, they are not a dot because they are dots everywhere, giving trouble. You see that? So what does the president do? They don't send army after them. Because I tell you, they send the army, it will stop in 24 hours. You will not see these people anymore. But does he do? No, they're working with them. They're working with them. The president is a terrorist. The government is a terrorist government. And you don't call them terrorists, you still look at them as a government. Oh, we appeal to the president. Which president are you appealing to? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? He will use that appeal and know how to handle you the next time with Fulani people. And since you people want to be doing things like people who are insane, it's up to you. Or you can decide to gather together, work with your neighbors and find out ways to begin to build, strategically build resistance against the massacre of your people. That is your duty, whether in your middle belt, you're in the southeast, you're in the south, you're in the southwest, wherever you are. In the north, you work with your communities and find ways to build resistance towards them. Right now, what they're doing is anybody who ever opposes them, speaks up against it, they go after the person. Because they know that when their strategy is when we capture the person, others will be afraid and shut up. They use fear to intimidate everybody. Don't allow them to use fear to intimidate you. Fulani does not own land there. You have to, they will all be sacked. All their emirs will leave that land. I'm telling you, mark my words today. Because they are there for conquest, they are not there to grant you any freedom. The peoples who are in Nigeria will always be slaves under them. That's why then they take over, they become emir, they become governor, they become National Assembly member, senator, and house member. They take over the whole, even though they are less than 1% of the community. They intimidate others and take over. That is their work. So they will be rejected. And the resistance against them must continue. The problem we're having is some of the media stations that continue to blab rubbish. And like we said, from the southwest, from Yoruba area, they are the worst type of journalists you really can listen to, honestly. I mentioned RBi App here because you watch that morning show, you know, they hardly condemn Fulani people. Arise News, do condemn Fulani people? No. The one by Aniagolo, Arise News. You have to condemn Fulani this thing. No. Why don't you condemn them? Why don't you condemn the problem of Nigeria? This is a governor telling you who are the problem. I'll read it again. It says, across Nigeria, open grazing has led to the invasion of farming communities by Fulani herdsmen, leading to massive killings and maiming of people, raping of women, destruction of property, loss of livelihood, and displacement of persons. And you are not doing anything about it? And you have the mouth to be criticizing Biafra? Aren't you insane? What about saving yourself, for goodness sake? Is that how much you hate yourself? That somebody will be killing and destroying your people and then you're not doing anything about it. I'll go further. It says, you might have heard that on March 2021, there was an assassination attempt on me by Fulani militia on my way back from the farm. It took the grace of God for me to survive the attack. As at today, many states in Nigeria have been affected by the activities of marauding herdsmen. The negative impact of open grazing, which often results in attacks on communities in different parts of the country, adversely affect the local economy as farmers are prevented from accessing their farms and local markets, are also deserted for fear of imminent invasion by the killers. The continued rise in the attacks by Fulani herdsmen in the country have also led to mass displacement of persons, leading to desertion of farmlands. In Benue State, for example, over 1 million people have been displaced and are currently living in internally displaced persons camps and host communities. Farmers who have attempted to go back and till their land are either killed or maimed by herdsmen. This has led to food insecurity and poverty in the country, thereby affecting the attainment of goals 1 and 2 of the Sustainable Development Goals and zero hunger and end poverty. So you can see farmers cannot go back to their farms and hunger has struck in. He is not speaking to them in the language they understand. Where is the president to speak to them in a language they understand? The president is nowhere to be found to speak. No, they arm them, they protect them with the military. That same military is doing their duty and doing their bidding, and then they come to kill our people resist them, and you have a problem with that? And you have a problem with that? What kind of person are you? You have already told us who you are. We will resist those who are coming to kill us. There's nothing wrong with it. What have you done to bring justice to those who are killed already? To those who have been violated? You haven't done anything. Where you have strength, where you have the unction, where you have the temerity, is to ask a question why those who are defending themselves are doing so. That they're killing soldiers. That they're destroying INEC office. There is no democracy in the land. They rigged the elections. Remember, there is option A4 for which Elbila was elected. Rather than Nigerians ask about that option A4, they never talk about it. The media keeps talking about something else. Obasanjo came and threw it into the trash so he can rig the election again and continue to rig the election. What type of world do you want when you cannot speak out for what is right? That shows who you are as a person. Shows who you are as a person. That's you right there in the mirror. Now, let's see this again. I continue with what he said, quoting Otom. He says, open grazing of cattle leads to destruction of farmland and environmental degradation. This has resulted in resistance from communities whose lands have been negatively affected by the activities of Fulani herdsmen and their cattle roaming across the country. Remember that they said this, some of these people, they wanted to lie. So they said they are coming from Niger, which is true. Some of them, but there's Fulani in the house too, you know, in Nigeria, who are part of them, obviously. So, working with their brothers from Nigeria and so on, they come in and then they begin all these destructions. You know, they are giving it as an excuse. Can you imagine a government giving an excuse that it is people from foreign land? Isn't the duty of the government to actually fight those people who are foreigners, killing their own citizens? But this government doesn't do it. Defends the killers. You know, so this government, they are made up of criminals. They are worse than criminals, and that is why it's not a point to bringing words on. I don't know where the word to describe them will come from, honestly, because the words in dictionary are not sufficient if you look at what they're doing. So, open grazing of cattle leads to destruction of farmlands and environmental degradation. This has resulted in resistance from communities whose lands have been negatively affected by the activities of Fulani herdsmen and their cattle roaming across the country. Consequently, this has had a negative impact on the socio-economic life of the country. It is also fueling ethnic tensions. The current secessionist agitations are also current self-determination agitations are also a result of this, in addition to the injustice, lack of fairness and equity in appointments and citing of projects in total disregard of federal character principle. Similarly, as enshrined the Constitution. Similarly, the failure, when we talk about Constitution, please let's remember the Constitution is not Constitution of the people. It's Constitution written by Islamic jihadist people, Yadudu, Awali Yadudu, and what is his name, Abdul Salam Abubakar in 1999 Constitution. So the Constitution is Constitution of Islamic people, simple. So it's not the Constitution of the people of Nigeria. So that Constitution is completely trash. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't come from the people. So it's unrecognized by us, actually. So similarly, the failure of the federal, that Constitution is a forgery. It's a forgery. So it's a criminal document. Forgery is a crime. Yeah. So similarly, the failure of the federal government to decisively address the herdsmen attacks and invasion and other sundry issues had led to disaffection among the citizens. Nigeria has never been as divided as it is today. There is a growing perception that the federal government is encouraging the murderous activities of Fulani herdsmen by its actions and inaction. So from all indications, the public trust in the presidency has eroded. This does not speak well for the corporate existence of Nigeria. Why must Nigeria exist? Corporate existence, Why must it exist? Is it by force? Give me a break. Nations are broken up, including world power like USSR. How much more Nigeria? So it's nothing, it doesn't mean anything. Should just disintegrate so people can go their way. It's never going to work as a place, as a nation, it's a country, sorry. Yeah, this is not a nation anyway. So similarly, the failure of the federal government to decisively address the herdsmen attacks and invasion and other sundry issues have led to dissatisfaction among the citizenry. Nigeria has never been so divided. There is a growing perception that the federal government is encouraging the murderous activities of Fulani herdsmen by its actions and inactions. Well, what other logic can anybody make that people are raping and burning and the army is not sent to them? The army is sent to innocent people in the southeast to do Operation Python dance and this. That python is crying right now. It's no more dancing. That python will die eventually. By God's grace, by the power of the right hand of God Almighty, the God of Israel. You will see that. So it says, from all indications, the public trust in the president has eroded. So my position still remains the president has a hidden agenda. If not, Nigeria is ripe for the implementation of a policy on ranching as captured in the National Livestock Transformation Plan that's adopted by the National Economic Council. This will not only protect farming communities from attacks and herdsmen from cattle rustling, but also lead to environmental protection, security of lives and property, as well as guarantee food security. Indeed, ranching will also boost livestock production. While calling for the arrest and prosecution of leaders of Mieti Allah, Kautel Hore, the governor urged the federal government to also proscribe all militant Fulani groups, as was done in the case of the independent people of Biafra and the indigenous people of Biafra. So, given that the Global Terrorism Index ranks Fulani militia as the 4th deadliest terrorist group in the world, similarly, other extremist groups should be proscribed. So, nothing makes us extremists, those of us who are Biafrans. Simple. We're defending ourselves. So, don't characterize us as these mad people, as terrorists. Definitely. How can Biafrans be terrorists? They are not terrorists. How can ESM be terrorists? How can UGM be terrorists? They are not terrorists. They are defending themselves from terrorists. Note that. They are freedom fighters. Stop calling them hoodlums because the president, this terrorist government is calling them hoodlums. Don't call them hoodlums. Do not you ever use that word. They are freedom fighters. They are fighting for their freedom. Because let me tell you who terrorists are. Terrorists will attack innocent people who are not armed and dangerous. That is not the same thing that they are doing. There is a difference. A terrorist will easily attack soft target. That's not what they're doing. These people are attacking people with arms who are coming to kill them, even though they're in uniform. The government is backing them up. Terrorists who have been put uniform on, to put their uniform on to come and kill us. That is what so they cannot, those who are resisting it cannot be terrorists. Or they cannot be hoodlums. Stop using that type of word. Use the correct word for what that person is doing. You know the truth. They are freedom fighters, period. So we see welcoming dignitaries earlier, the Makrudi NBA chairman, Mr. Justice Bagher, said the disturbing trend of the activities of militia herdsmen in Nigeria and the attendant security threat to the corporate existence of the country is the choice of the team. Bagher said the security architecture in the country was in doldrums, as all parts bleed uncontrollably with over 250 million inhabitants becoming endangered and travel routes becoming targets to attacks by the militia herdsmen. Yeah, the president in recent interview was talking about travel routes. That, still that those travel routes, that you claim the land, claim route. These are land owned by people, for goodness sake. So what right do you have to claim it? Because you're president of a country. So, and this is the problem we're having with these people. So they're encouraging the annexation of other people's lands. That is what this government is doing. And like he rightly said, that in the global terrorist index, Fulani militia are the 4th deadliest terrorist organization in the global terrorist index. And this man is their patron. And the Sultan of Sokoto is their grand patron. That means the Sultan of Sokoto is #1 terrorist in that country. What it means is that the president is a terrorist. That means that that cabinet, all those who are behind there, doing the plot, Gambari, that's this man, they are there doing the plot behind the scenes. The plot of conquest of the other lands and everyone. You see, their problem is that the East is resisting and is resisting them successfully. That is their problem. There's nothing else. They want to run over the whole place, just like they run over North. A lot of ethnicities in the North. They always say the North. Fulani is basically 5% of the North. But they run over the indigenous people in the North. They ran them over. Those people are not wise enough to understand their game, or they could not outmaneuver them. And they are now serving them. And we're telling them it is your right to rise up and fight the Fulani. You can undermine people if you begin to think about what to do to resist. Ideas will come into your head, but you need to begin to do that. They came to the east. We said, no, you can't take our land. That's the problem that they have. So I'd like to bring Mazi Chukwusikediwe to please help me in analysis of this publication, if I can be connected with you. You're welcome.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for bringing me in. I will start by welcoming our people, great Biafrans, our esteemed listeners, another special broadcast on the people's favorite radio station, Radio Biafra International. The station empowers the people with the right information. Based on this, about the issue at hand, we already know that Nigeria is a terrorist organization. It's a terrorist state. There's no two ways about it. And if you look at very well, we see that there's a gang up to criminalize the struggle. And that's what I'm telling our people. It doesn't matter the group you belong to, because that's the mistake most of us are making. We are seeing it from the group perspective. This is the time for Biafrans to have come back. Even if we have our issues, let's suspend it. Let's close ranks to now, to make sure that we fight this gang up of criminalizing our struggle. If you see everywhere, the media has been paid to always project Biafrans as being violent, and that's why you see Ruben Abat in that interview trying to make it look as if, out of a sudden, ESN or Biafrans out of a sudden became very violent and attacking institutions, vandalizing government properties. And the issue should have been, what are those government infrastructure? Which government project do we have in the southeast? None. And then for them to even be making INEC offices and what have you, police station, which are abattoir for killing innocent people as infrastructure, should get that this part crazy. So therefore people should forget about, because we're not talking about, there's no infrastructure in those our places for people to even be destroyed in the first place. So but what we must fight is this gang up to criminalize what we are doing and make us look at the violent people. Why are these people were the ones who started murdering us for no reason? These were the people that started killing us for doing nothing years back. Started since when we were even marching on the street, harmless, did nothing. And out of a sudden, and the worst is that these people are the people that even initiated this violence, the one that brought the non-government into the land and started killing people for no reason. And then they're trying to, we must understand that this is a gang up to criminal whatever I'm doing. And if there's anything we must fight, is this gang up against what we believe in. And the best way to fight it, like we were telling people to stop, we were telling the media to stop see what we're doing as freedom fighting. Whatever the media says is their own business, but whatever we say is the main thing. And the main thing is to put what we're doing first, call us the right name, and then I'm saying that if Biafrans know what we're doing, the first thing we should have done immediately that prescription of IPOB happened was also prescribed Nigeria, prescribed every institution in Nigeria, every institution that played a part in those things. That was exactly what I was expecting them to do. Thank God we've done it in BRM, and we told them, and that's why whenever we're talking, we call the president a terrorist, we call the government a terrorist, Fulani government, and then we call the country a terrorist state, because we did it. But that's what Nigeria, that's what all Biafrans should do, all group in Biafra land should do it, and make sure we, in all our correspondences, that we use such to describe them. That is the way it's done, and we must continue with that. Because if we keep projecting it, the whole world will now recognize them for who they are. And that is what, if the whole world will recognize that this country is a zoo, it won't take long if we continue to insist on that, for them to know that this is a terrorist state, and whatever a terrorist state is doing by calling others a terrorist wouldn't stand. So we must make sure we fight them. The best way to fight the enemy is to fight him bumper to bumper, nail by nail. Whatever he brings to you, if he brings this, you give it to him in the same species, in the same arrangement that's bringing. So we must know how to fight them, and this is the best way to fight them. A terrorist cannot be calling you a terrorist and you are keeping quiet. No, we mustn't take that. We can't afford to keep quiet where they are calling us names and this. These people are the real terrorists, and the only thing that can bring it to the conscience of the world for it to continue to call them what they are. They already know, because they pamper the terrorists, they pamper these Fulani that have been going around killing people. All the government actions, all their inactions are what is all about protecting these Fulani, which even the whole international organizations have recognized as a terrorist group. So all we have to do is to bring it to the consciousness of the world and not allow them to be calling us every day. Now you see them writing about, and they're talking about terrorist IPOB, they're talking about terrorist ESN, this and that, and then they make everybody in Biafra land look, even at all Igbos, they make them look as if we are all terrorists, because these are the fundamentals. And thank God that BRM is raising these issues already and implementing it. So it's left for all Biafrans to key into this thing, take Nigeria to where we are, because Nigeria do not intend to stop. They do not intend to stop doing this evil, because evil runs in the DNA of Nigeria, especially the president. He has evil running all over him. Everything about him is evil, 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 evil. So our people must do what is necessary, and the only thing that is necessary is to make sure that we take this battle to them. They are not willing to stop now until we take these issues to them. So we must actually make sure that we project who we are as freedom fighters, and then also project what these people are, which is terrorist state, terrorist government, terrorist Fulani government, terrorist president Buhari, terrorist foreign information minister Lai Mohammed, terrorist army chief of army staff. All of them we must continue to do it. That is the way it is done. You don't allow the enemy to demonize you. No, you take those demonization pain, because if you are allowed to demonize, the world might accept that. So and that's the most important aspect of this struggle now. That is the most aspect of now, because and they've bought all over practical all the media houses, and the media houses are aiding them to do this. The media houses is giving it a kind of encouragement. They do it every other time. So it's left for us to do it. You thank God for social media, because no social media, these guys will have gotten away with so many attacks that they've committed. Thank God for we must do it, and the time to start is now. You make sure that in all correspondence you write it to them. I'm doing it in all my listens. I do it, I write it, and that's all they do. Because what they do is go to Southeast, pick Igbo people, put them in this thing, label them ESN or non-government, this thing. And then even when you prove that these people are innocent, what else do? They will make sure that they pay to release them. And from 1 million upward. Because if you don't do, the court is not in session, nothing is in session. They will make sure these people keep staying in prison for no reason. These are things that we must stop, and stopping is right now. And then from the news you read, you discovered that Governor Tom advising Buhari on what to do is very, very necessary. But Buhari will never do it, because it's a nepotist man who believes that Fulanis are superior in all aspects. So he will never ever proscribe these Fulani people. He is in bed with them, he's in cahoots with them. Whatever they do pleases him. So it's left for us to do what the government cannot do. And what the government cannot do is to prescribe Miete Allah and all that Fulani terrorist group. So the only people who can prescribe them, the only person who can do the advice of what Autumn has described is with the Biafrans, and we can only do it by projecting it every other time. That is the only way we can put it to the conscience of the people, and the time to do it is now. Thank you. So I'm still here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mazi Chuksi Kerigwe, for that analysis. It is very refreshing. I took the note of what you said, some of it, that we do not allow our enemies to criminalize us. When you know you're in the right, do not allow them to criminalize us. You know, I heard it from him. We should not allow it. Don't allow people who are terrorists and killing you to come and call you terrorist, and you are there defending. Oh, you know, we are not. You see, Now they put you in defense. What you do is you call them, they are criminals and terrorists. That president is a criminal, is an impostor. You know, speak out what you know is the truth. That way you can be able to resist them. If you allow them to criminalize you, they did it to the Igbo in 1966. That is why you have little Beltoners apologizing. You have even a job apologizing. Because they use the media to demonize the Igbo. And a lot of people believe them in Nigeria. Today you have the internet, so they are not able to succeed on that anymore. But they are using that same plot, you know, and applying it to these times. But it's not succeeding. So in 1960s, oh, Igbo is this, Igbo is that, you know, Kopo. They give them names. Rather than an Igbo person say, no, I'm not. He will say, well, you know, forget them and let me go my business. Oh, that's why they killed most people, slaughtered our people, innocent people. Today, we are resisting, and we must resist anybody giving us bad image when it is wrong, you know, when it's not the truth. So, and we will give them that bad, they're already having it. That is coming from Biafrans. I'm so proud of Biafrans and what they're doing, you know. Now, it's a different world. They cannot succeed with it any longer. In fact, I used to say that if they know that some of the recordings of what that was there during the war, because foreign reporters were there and they took records of what was happening, video records and so on and so forth, interviews. If they knew that this would be shown today, that there will be internet and that the whole world will be seeing it, they would have been a little bit cautious of certain things they do. Not that they will change from being evil, they will not, but they will try to cover up. But the whole thing is so exposed to the world and exposed to generation of Biafrans to come. So nobody can hide it. We are Biafrans. We are Biafrans. Nobody tells us who we are. We tell ourselves who we are. And if they cannot accept it, it's on them. We don't go and attack people because they say they are Nigerians. That doesn't make sense. You don't attack somebody because he says his name is John, or his name is James, or his name is Wenga, or his name is Chukwudi, or his name is Atahiro. No, you don't attack them because only Nigeria, whose people say, I'm a Biafran. Go and get a gun. Get the guns. Get the army. Get this. Get that. That is a confirmation to you that word Biafra is where your liberty comes from. Otherwise, it won't bother them. That is why they present our people who are still confused in the media stations to keep telling you why Nigeria is okay, why we should still concentrate on how to build Nigeria. You see, that's the thing they will hear, they'll become. Meanwhile, he's capturing lands, he's raping people, he's taking lands, he's sending terrorists, he's sending their Fulani attending the terrorists everywhere. They're using the military to go and kill people, rape people, you know, arrest people and extort money from them. You know how much money they've extorted from our people? It's unbelievable. A land that you have up to 300 checkpoints, 300. The police, the army, the navy, the air force, they say joint task force, NCDC, this, that, all of custom, they're all there, extorting money from our people, extorting our people into poverty. That is what you get when Fulani is in the reins of power. And Fulani was allowed to be in the reins of power because they use Igbo hatred. Each time the political decisions that Nigerians are making is out of the fear of the Igbo. Fear of Igbo as what? Does the Igbo kill you? Does the Igbo take your land and rape your women? What are you afraid of? You are evil. That's why that thing is in you. But you feel safer to work with Fulani. Does that show you that something is wrong with you right there? The choices that you make. And that is it. So you go and support Fulani. It is by, Igbo. Jonathan came up. Oh, he's even answering a bell. He could be Igbo. So terrible. Now, in the West, we knew what happened in the West, Yoruba land. A lot of people came and Yoruba voted 52-48 anyways. You know, 52% for Buhari. And so not all of them, John, but 52%. Tinubu went and told, hey, you see, Jonathan is Igbo. The same people that you have been depending on their oil since 1958. The same people. And they tell you about South. All kinds of rubbish. where the Igbo people are there. If you check the oil wells that exist in South, where there are people who are Igbo speaking. I said Igbo because you think that people who are only Igbo speaking. There are Igbo that are not speaking Igbo, for your information. And that is it. The Igbo people, if you consider that they consist about 60% of oil production. 60% of oil production. And you want to use our oil to kill us? Oh no. We need to do something that is these people, God will bring you down. God will bring you, because you are nothing but evil. This country is not supposed to exist. Never. So it will never work anyways. So, but we will go. The Biafrans will go. We are in 14 states. We are going to bring our people with us and leave. They are in 14 states. We're not going to leave them behind. So conduct a referendum. If you refuse, your sleep has gone. You can't sleep again. Just like we are not sleeping. So if you say we will not sleep, then you will not sleep. It's as simple as that. So, there is no way we can be in servitude to anybody. You are not right in your head. Fulani, and that is what we're saying, all the ethnic groups that Fulani is holding in the north must be released by Fulani. Fulani must release all those ethnic groups in the north, in the middle belt. They must be defeated so that the people can be free. What type of value system do these people have? Feudal system, that is what you want to bring in 2021 in Africa? That's why I say they are not Africans, they're Arabs. Their bloodline is Arab. That's why they look to Mecca for everything. The rest of part of Africa is for conquest. That's the way they see you doing democracy with people who believe in Islamic Sharia law. How does Sharia law relate to democracy? I'm asking the question. You that still say, oh, you have to have Nigeria. How does Sharia law relate to democracy? Talking about things that are impossible. And they come out there and tell you, I'm legislator, I'm senator, this, that. But there's Sharia law where he comes from. That is against democracy. But he's a Democrat. He's a senator. He's a House of Assembly member. Are you not crazy? He's a governor, this, that, that. They are doing election. That's why they rig the thing always now. Because it's about a few people on top subjugating the rest. That is how their society is, using the rest. Those few people who are selfish and wicked, autocratic, dictatorial, what they do is they pounce themselves on others and then subdue others. Witchcraft, manipulation, that is their part. This is nothing but evil, condemnable by God of Israel. They will suffer for it. And I urge you, those of you who are Nigerians, please do not support this type of thing. Support your own freedom by supporting what is right. That is what you do as a people. Do not do that. Because when you support this evil, it will work against not just you, but your children. You just think about now. Remember, we will all go. When you leave, what is going to become of you? We've always talked about identity. What do you have to do to subjugate any group of people? What do you have to do? You must justify the subjugation by giving them negative names, labels, and epithets. That's what happens. They are this, they are that. Once you start giving them names and labels, that's how you subjugate them. Because they want people to see those people the way they want them to see, not by what they have done. Why do they try to demonize the Igbo as they are doing now? Oh, they are destroying police stations. They are destroying this, that. Who has contributed anything more to Nigeria than Igbo? If you remove Igbo there, Nigeria will just go off like, light you switched off. But the people who are not contributing, who are only contributing trouble, corruption, squandering Igbo money, Igbo oil money. I call it Igbo because if you want, we'll go and calculate how much that comes from Igbo land. Including Igbo land in South. We don't want to say those who are not speaking Igbo, but they're Igbo. Okay. But the ones that, let's calculate that. That money is being squandered by other people. They squander this money, they're criminals. They come up with the media and try to criminalize the people whom they have exploited, the people who are so unjustly treated. That is the problem in Nigeria. Some Nigerians are fond of using dubious phrases also, like we, this, they, that. Who are we, actually, and who is they? If we don't do this, who are we? There is no we. We are not together. There is no force. Unity doesn't work. Stop using those pronouns, we. We have to stop corruption. That's the way we have to make it. Oh, goodness me. You don't want to mention those who are corrupt, who are doing the thing, who are doing the corruption. Fulani has been the worst type of most corrupt people I think is on the face of the earth because of what is done in Nigeria. Billions squandered. Umar Diko was Fulani, isn't it? You want to know about it, an Islamic North is the worst. 12.2 billion, which was squandered by Ibrahim Babangida. Abdul Salami squandered billions, so squandered billions in 6 months or 7 months that he was there. These are criminals. That's who they are. Not former ex-head of state. You're giving them honor they do not deserve. Honor, respect is earned in our own culture. In their own culture, they respect criminals. That's what they do. That is their culture. It's not our culture. And these people who respect criminals are the ones who are telling you what is what. And you are listening to them. So when they use the fund of we, that's just pretenses. These are wicked, disingenuous paths to avoid tying actions to names of persons or groups responsible for what is happening to them in this Lugat's cage. That's why they use we. We as Nigerians must stop corruption. We as nobody's held responsible for anything. That's Nigerian language. Doesn't make sense. You cannot move forward that way. Fulani and their subservient Islamists, prisoners of Islamic faith in the north, with significant even Yoruba alliance, have ruined their Nigeria, reducing it to the terrorism and poverty capital of the world, and a highly dishonest man called Lai Mohammed adds information minister, trumpets impunity and insults on behalf of the sacrilegious government of terrorists. That's what you see going on. And we talk about Yoruba alliance, when I talk about Tinubu alliance. Not all of them, and all of the young of this age, they are coming up to resist. We have Sunday Igbo and other resisting this nonsense that is going on. Because it's to enslave everybody, it's to enslave you. Anybody who doesn't believe in human rights is there to enslave you. If he's taking away your rights, fight for it. Eternal vigilance towards protecting your rights. That's how is the price of liberty, price of freedom. In civilized countries, in the United States, France, Britain, it's the same thing. That's why you still have demonstrations in those places. You can't go and kill people after demonstration. They'll prosecute you. Yes. Because they know you shouldn't shut people up from criticizing you or examining you or asking for accountability from you. Because you're supposed to be responsible, particularly when you're doing something that's public. That is, you're serving the public. That's what is called public responsibility. You have to be accountable. That is the way it goes. So you have Lai Mohammed lying with impunity, insulting other people on behalf of this sacrilegious government of terrorists. That's what it is. Actions do not unfold without names behind them. So Nigerians must stop applying pronouns to exonerate perpetrators of bad governance from the responsibility of their violations. For Biafrans, I still say, remember that Ojukwu once in an interview many years ago told his people that if you wake up in the morning and your enemy congratulates you, know that you do not know what you are doing. We believe that he was very right. You know he was right. Your identity is strongly attached to your name and vice versa. That means you must be careful on the name you answer. You were given the name Nigeria, but foreigners who had no good intentions for our people, gave you that name. You were given the name Nigeria by foreigners, and they had no good intentions for our people. And we went and took it and even defended it. That name has turned to bring immense suffering and sorrow to our people. That is why we reasonably and rightfully rejected it. We are Biafrans. We are Biafran. Be proud to be a Biafran. Be proud when you move out somewhere, someone says, where are you from? I'm from Biafra. How are you? Where are you? I'm a Biafran. Be able to speak out if you don't internalize your belief, your faith, and practice it out, that's a faith without works is dead. So if you say, I believe I'm a Biafran, but you don't act it out, that faith is dead. How do you think Biafra will come? You are not serious. You don't want Biafra. When you want it, you're out in the open, demanding it. Doing it as Biafrans are doing all over the world. We're encouraging those of you who are still standing by to join. And join and support our boys and girls who are fighting. Can you imagine? Girls are still fighting, our own girls, Biafran girls. That is amazing. You go to ESN, you see them, they're there marching with the young men. They fight in the bush, they fight your enemies to protect your land and protect your people. And what we have some of us who have criticisms for them. This is insanity. What you do is you support them. Support them. There are things that the ideas God can put into you that you can use to support them. So the first constitution of colonial Nigeria was the Clifford Constitution. And let's go again, because we are reiterating these issues so that we can strengthen our consciousness regarding Biafra. Who created the boundaries and named the country Nigeria and its regions? That's the British slavers and colonists. These are the ones that did that. Slavers and colonists did that. Who created these states? The states that you have now. Northern military officers in their own interests of political domination. They are the ones that created the states. So I'm from this state, I am from that state, I am here. Give you a different identity and you run with it. Something wrong with that. Your enemies give you names and you run with it. There is something fundamentally wrong with that response. We name ourselves not by our enemies. You name yourself not by it. That is why our enemies reject the names we give ourselves. They reject those names because the names we give ourselves. They want to take their own name because their own name represents what they think of us. And what they think of us is not good. They think of us of what is bad, as we see in our own interactions with them. So this is logic. This is common sense. This is being reasonable. They reject the name we give to ourselves and force their own names on us. Nigeria is not a name we give ourselves. Its very existence have generated a lot of antagonism and hatred for the words Biafra and even Igbo. We cannot cave in to the desire of our vowed enemies over us on something that is our choice. Very important. This is our choice. Something that is our right. Something that is our choice and something that is our right. Why must it be trouble? If something that is your choice and your right is trouble, know that that thing is right. Because the under normal sense is not supposed to be trouble, isn't it? Nobody makes trouble because they want to answer Nigeria, they want to answer Fulani, want to answer Arawa. No problem. As I say, you're Biafra, trouble comes out. And they want you never to speak about it. That's why they say arrest, kill. Do not let them stop. And that is what I'm saying. Those of us who are back home, because they say they check your phone, that is why you must support a militant resistance to that. There's no way somebody should say, check your phone and arrest you and kill you because you have Biafra in your phone. What kind of rubbish is that? That military man is not a military man. He's a killer. He's a murderer. Somebody will check your phone and see Biafra on Nnamdi Kanu or something, or IPOB or anything regarding Biafra, or BRM or anything regarding Biafra, or BZM or anything, and then he takes you out and kills you. That's why they are not soldiers, they are murderers. Because that thing is not a crime. Dividing death is not a crime at all. So once they're doing that, they don't deserve to walk freely on that land. And our people know what to do. What type of nonsense is this? Stop being shaken. All we do is, they killed him. Please remove your phone. No, begin to organize. Stop crying and organize. Make it very difficult for them to walk in that land. We will make it difficult. I'm not saying because we're all involved in this. And we know what we're doing concerning this. It's very difficult to walk in that land simply to take away our rights, including our lives. And we watch them while they do that. These terrorists, criminals. So that is why our enemies reject our names. We are doing what is right. So the first, we cannot cave in to the desire of our vowed enemies over us on something that is our choice, something that is our right. Remember that. You don't cave into that. You cave into that is death for you and your people and your children and your children's children. Don't do that. Please. And I'm telling, including those who are in the north, enough of this Fulani, giving Fulani upper hand over yourself. It's time for you to rise up and fight for your freedom. Stop, just form alliances. That's how to do it. Form alliances, organize. And you say, oh, there's saboteur, the greatest threat to you. What you do is, like I said, you give somebody, and in the East, it's now being done. You know that that person is a saboteur. Get convincing evidence, and you know what to do. Convincing evidence, it must be convincing. So you don't kill an innocent person. If you kill an innocent person, it's on your blood, it's on your head. But somebody who's a saboteur, what you will make do these organizations you often do, you know what happens. When you have a government, we put them on trial. You don't put them still on trial. Form a jury of your best people and put them on trial. Put them on trial so you can examine different causes. And after that, deliver judgment. What do you mean, saboteur? Because of saboteur, you will not fight for your freedom. You go and give up your people. That's why they are targeting anybody who raises their voice against them, so that they can intimidate the rest. Do not fall for this intimidation. By Fulani are criminals and terrorists. People tell me, oh, why is it that it's not all of them? Where are the good ones? What are they doing to stop it? Good ones are not speaking up against it. That means they are all in it, because they are being tacit. Tacit engagement to this issue is a sign of acquiescence. It's a sign of agreement. Otherwise, they would have raised their voice against Fulani genocide. So the first constitution of the colonial Nigeria was the Clifford Constitution, created in 1922 by the Governor General Hugh Clifford. That constitution disposed the Nigerian Council of Lord Lugard in 1914. In that period, the Igede, for example, the Igede, now I'm talking about links of other areas where Igbo people are in other states. They want to say, oh, 5 Southeast, they are landlocked. You know, another dream. You know, they are landlocked. Impossible. In that period, the Igede fought to rejoin their kith and kin in Eastern region until 1928, when the British defeated them. So the Igede fought to rejoin their Igbo people. But they're now in Benue State. It's on record. The British themselves recorded it. So why did they want to cut off our people? They wanted to make us smaller in the map. Just like what they're doing now. It's 5 Southeast states. It's only 5. Very soon it will be 4 Southeast states. It will be now 3, 5. Oh, one. It's just one. The rest are south. That's what you see. So 1928 said that is not to say that every people below the Benue River were not supposed to be Eastern region. But the British, in order to make this their greatest opposition against colonization, their greatest opposition, who were the Igbo, smaller in the map. The Eastern region was delineated geographically almost halfway between River Benue and the Atlantic Ocean. You see how they designated the Eastern region? The Eastern region is supposed to be all the way from below Benue, this thing. And the Benue curve, the Benue River curve is lower than the one on the west. But almost the whole of the west side of the River Niger is Western region, up to Kwara and all the rest of it. But in the east, they come to the Benue River, which is lower in its arc, you know, in the map of Nigeria. They still cut it into half. Between that river and the Atlantic Ocean, they cut it into half. And say, oh, this other part is Eastern region. So Benue is Eastern region. And the point is this, I keep saying, draw a cross, a line to divide Nigeria into half, from north to south, and divide it into half from east to west. You can tell the area that is southeast. You find out that even southern Kaduna is southeast. Southeast. And Nigeria will change the map and begin to do all these games. We don't want our people to continue to fall for it anymore. Do not agree to this. So, they wanted to make us slower in the map. So the eastern region was delineated geographically, almost halfway between River Benue and Atlantic Ocean, ceding half of what is supposed to be the eastern region to the north. That label, north, meant in political substance the Islamic hegemonic oligarchic north. That's when they say north, that's what it means. That north does not recognize the middle belt, whom they use to make up. It doesn't, and the north even recognize only the Fulani, that's what it means. Because when they meet, they say northern governors meet. It's only Fulani cousins that meet because they're taking over power. It's not the northern indigenes of the north. They are using them. They've conquered them. They subdued them. That's what they want to do in the east. It says, the minority ethnic nationalities of the Middle Belt adopted that label too, and it has kept them in a subdued political status till today. They adopted that label, that they are part of the North. It's kept them to a subdued political status till today. They are not equal to the Fulani there. Is that the person of equality? Which Fulani does not allow at all. Yeah, they seize everything. Believe it's their birthright. That honestly goes for us and other peoples and regions because there is some level of subjugation which they are perpetrating in Nigeria, the rest of Nigeria. Yes. That is why people will say, oh, but would they agree? You see that? You say, oh, restructuring, but they will not agree. Why do you say they will not agree? It's because you've given them power over you. You see that? Otherwise, if you have that power, you just say restructure and then you restructure the country immediately. But say they will not agree means that they have power. They seized the military, seized the government, hijacked everything right before your eyes and point to the Igbo as the danger. Those people are gamers. You can't help but respect the way they play their games. But they play it devilishly. They serve the devil when they play. That's all it's going on. You know, but in terms of being smart, oh no, you cannot deny it. Because how did they achieve all this? How did they achieve all this? Well, their smartness is for the devil. That's all. So you use the smartness of the devil, which will end up in shame at the time comes, because they will come down, definitely, whether they like it or not. You know, because they're not fighting with human beings, they're fighting with God when they are doing this type of things. You know, as every evil, it has its expiry date. That honestly goes for us and other people's region. United Nations referendum in British Cameroon was held on February 11, 1961. Remember the British Cameroon? Yeah. I'm showing you how we became 5 Southeast states because this president mentioned about being a dot in the map. This imposter, please, is not President Buhari. We know that that man is not an 80-year-old man. So we know that. That is clear. And it's only in Nigeria this type of thing will happen. Bring an imposter, sit him there as president, and things are still functioning. You know, Nigeria is such a ridiculous place. You know, the people, they call it, you know, zoo. But it's worse than a zoo. The zoo is organized somehow. This is, you know, this is even worse than a jungle. But I call it's a jungle. Anything goes. Anything goes. You know, because Fulani is in charge. So that's why you can bring an imposter and make him say he's the president. You know, this guy is the man. Put him eyeglasses and that's all. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing. And when you think of it, sometimes you ask yourself, is this actually happening? Is this actually happening? Is this actually happening? But it is. It's right there in front of you. That is Nigeria for you. Nigeria where Fulani is. And those who cannot resist them, who act so weakly. And they're mentally that they deceive you, pointing to the Igbo. Igbo man is this. Igbo man has been sacked out of government, though. He's not in government any longer. You know, sacked all of us. Military, everything. You know? And then, yeah, but Igbo is the problem. And why do you listen to such a nonsense? The Igbo that fought for independence of Nigeria. Where were they when they don't fight? It's only fighting Igbo. That's where you have their strength. Fight the British, no? It's during slavery. Igbo led the struggle in slavery to free Africans. And you come to Nigeria, or wherever you see their strength is whenever you mention Igbo. You see their strength. Can you please use your strength and do something good so that you can have a better image than you do have? No, you don't. You allow jealousy to guide your decisions. And you think you can have a good image from that. And I have advised people, come out from idolatry. Those of us who are in our land, who are still doing idolatry, you still go out to say Odeshi. Come out from that nonsense. At the end of the day, that is what provokes God, and that is why we're suffering. Let me be very clear to you. Come out from that rubbish, because it will be not only will enslave us, we will leave that land if we continue that. I'm telling you. God will allow the Fulani to sack us completely. Kill those, they will kill those. The other ones will run into Cameroon and so on and so forth. The other one will flee. And it's all complaint, just like you keep complaining. That's all you'll be doing. That's all. If you survive it, complaint. But it's over. They're taking over the land. Stop going to practice idolatry, going to do Odesha and all the rest of it. And people, what are you doing in court? When you subscribe to things like that, God does not work with you, leave you. I'm giving you a secret. God won't. Why don't you pray? All these young men that's going to court, pray to God of Israel. Do that. You will be amazed how your life will begin to change. But let me tell you the truth. God will try you to know whether you are, for him. That's why you have trials and temptation. You've heard about trials and temptation. Yeah. Would you decide to follow him, or would you decide to go and consult demons? Because that's what you're consulting right there. Telling you about having power and how to kill the person, how to kill that person and kill them. It won't work. I'm telling you die because you went there to consult demons. Those demons want you too. They want you in hell. And you think it's your ancestors. It's not your ancestors. Come out of it. I've already said it here in RBi. I made quotations, biblical quotations, to support what I'm saying. And I've told you before, go and read Deuteronomy 18:10 to 13. Deuteronomy 18:10 to 13. Deuteronomy 18:10 to 13. Deuteronomy 18:10 to, go and read that one. And read Deuteronomy 27 and 28. That will settle you on a lot of things. Don't go the way of evil. That's why you're in the court in the first place. Because they told you that you have something to gain there. What are you to have you to gain? You think that demon, and let me tell you, when you go there, they speak moral words. Oh, that your hands are clean. If your hands are clean, nothing bad will happen to you. Oh, what do you mean? You think the devil doesn't know those words or how to speak them? The devil was in heaven, I'm telling you. He was the chief archangel. He knows the verbiage for that. This is powerful. But you are tampering with spirits that are going to destroy you. Don't do that. Pray to the God of Israel. Pray to Yeshua HaMashiach. I'm telling you, you'll be amazed what you'll see. How your life will change. When you pray, you stand. Don't say, I'm hungry. I don't have a job. I don't have this. So that's what I'm robbing. No. It's a devil. Let me tell you, a lot of people go through that. I went through it too. I've got to the number of that. But they take a decision not to do that because of the fear of God in them. That is how God saves them out of that. I'm giving you a secret. If you will listen, and if you choose to continue to consult, don't say that you were not told, because people are already say, people say, who told them? The day you die, they start crying. What killed them all? You will die if you keep doing that, if you keep worshiping evil. The demons. That is why Fulani is dealing with it. That's why we're doing it. But if you call on God, I'm telling you, they will be defeated. When they defeated you, all these things, food will be nothing to you. House will be nothing to you. Accommodation. All these things will be nothing to you. You'll be thinking about other things. Not basic things like food and shelter and clothing. Because that's what the enemy has reduced us into. To begin to worry about food, shelter, and clothing. But you go abroad, you see, they don't think in most developed countries of the world, in Asia or in South America, in North America, they don't worry about food, shelter, and clothing. It is there for the asking. So that they think about other things. So we want our society not to be a society that's so messed up. When you go to South Africa, you see development. Malawi, you see development. Botswana, development. You see as one African country. Rwanda, where you had genocide in 1994 of yesterday. You see development. Where people live as civilized people. Because they changed. Rwanda changed because they changed their thinking. Change your thinking. Don't join cult. Dissolve that cult. Have some will like a human being and say, you know what? What we're doing is wrong. We cannot continue with what is wrong. Let's do what is right. How can you carry gun and be shooting yourself? Fulani is killing you there. You don't fight Fulani. Go and join ESN. Join a group that is fighting for your distance. You see how your life will change. Rather than complete doing nonsense. Talking about cult. What is that? So now this goes to show us other peoples and regions. It says that here that honestly, in terms of labor, the minorities in Middle Belt, like I said, adopted that label of North too, and he had kept them subdued in their political status to this day. That also goes for us and other peoples in the region. The United Nations referendum in British Cameroons was held on February 11, 1961. I'm mentioning this to show how they have been reducing us in size. In the map, it has not been today that they've been doing it. That is why the president was talking about, it's a dot, it's a dot. It's all in line with the way they think our enemies are thinking. So we don't fall for it. So the United Nations referendum, British Cameroons, was held in February 11, 1961, without option of independence. You see that? Look at that. Mark that without options of independence. So the Ambazonia people today who are fighting for their freedom and whom we have reestablished alliance, they are our brothers, actually. Bloodline brothers, I'm telling you. This is why RBi is important. Listen to RBi and you will gain certain things. We ourselves that come in contact with it, we marvel at what God has done to bring this information to us, that we are able to have access to them. It is a spiritual guidance, not of men, but of God. So you see, in February 11, 1961, without option of independence, they told the people in southern Cameroons, who are now in Ambazonia, that they can either choose to belong to Nigeria or choose to belong to Cameroon. You see? So, and what happened? The North and even the Western politicians went and told them, oh, Igbo people. Same thing is going on today. Oh, Igbo people. It is Igbo people. You want to be on this or with these people. Oh, these people are going to do this to you. Do that to you. Oh, these people are terrible. Oh, watch them. Propaganda. And typical of Igbo people is, oh, leave this and I have other things important to do. Rather than answer back. Because if you don't answer back, people will believe what your enemy is saying. That's what goes on. So what did the Igbo do? They went their way. And so they went and conducted a referendum, actually. Let's go for that. This referendum was held under the auspices of the British, who influenced their choice to exit a political affiliation with the Eastern region for Cameroons. Their political affiliations with Eastern region for Cameroons. 70.5% voted to join Cameroon. That's how much this propaganda went. But and 29.5% with Eastern region. 29.5% has sense enough to know that this decision you're making now, these people haven't done anything wrong to you. They are your best allies, 29.5%. But 70.5% said no. They believed the propaganda from our enemies from Southwest Nigeria and the North against them. You see that? Yeah. And said, oh, no, we have to go. So today, after years of exploitation and marginalization, they are fighting for independence. They are fighting to get back with Biafra now. You see that? Yeah. There are people, when you don't know yourself, and that's why we have to know ourselves. Because you see, if we had knowledge of ourselves as we have today, they wouldn't have taken that decision. Yeah. They wouldn't have. They say, what? These are people, we cannot leave them. What are you talking about? You see that? They hang in with them. It would have been much better. So, but you left. So the British did it to make us smaller in the map. Remember where we're going here. Remember my issue of Benue State? Igede fighting the British and lost in 1928. The fact that they had to move their hand down from Benue, halfway between Benue River and Atlantic, to cut it half and say, oh, this one is southeast, to make us smaller. Yet it's not enough. They went to Southern Cameroon and said, you got to move out. Move them out, yank them out of that place, you see, through deception, to make us smaller in the map. So it's not enough. So today, after years of social marginalization, they are fighting for independence. The British and Nigerian military governments, led by mainly Islamic Northerners, gave our people the political labels: Western region, Midwest, Bendel State, and Delta, and Nioma, and Edo. We have a bank in Edo too, and Igbo. There was also Kogi. See, they gave us these names that we're answering today. It's not us that decided that. It's not the people, They are imposing names on us. Okay, you are this, you are that. No, it's something that the colonists did to us. We're not supposed to accept that at all. So it says there was also Kogi. In that Kogi, you have a Igala, which is part of Igbo. But I mentioned Anioma Delta State, where our people are found there. You know, so-called was answering West. It was Western region before. Then it answered Midwest. But our people are there. They do where you have Igodomi, Godo, Ibanke people. They are there. They are Igbo. There's also Kogi. They carved out Kogi. Kogi was carved out of Niger State, but we have a Gala. Our own people are there. Bloodline, DNA. That's why I use the word DNA, so you can understand what I'm saying. There's Benue. We have Idoma. The people who fought to join us. We have Ibira, where we have our Ado, who are Igbo people as indigenous people. Those are Ado people. They are Igbo. There was Eastern region. Then the Eastern region was changed to East Central State. You see that? And now Southeast. So from Eastern region, we answer East Central State. I don't know what East Central means. East Central State. You know, they're trying to make us smaller. We're in the center of the north. That's where this thing about their dot is coming from. I'm telling you the psychology of what he's saying. The president said, use East Central. We are central in the East. You see? So it's not today that this is after the war. Make them smaller, make them smaller, make them smaller in the map. But you can't move people from their land. So and they're trying to do that. That tells you how dangerous these people are when you're dealing with them. Change to East Central says, and now Southeast. Now it's Southeast. But how can it be Southeast when Calabar, Cross River, is east of Southeast? This part of it, but this one is Southeast. So you can see how they've been having a trouble with, and these are people, Efik, they are our people. Remember, the Cross River governor told you that he said it in a video. They are Igbos. The governor of Cross River State is Igbo. So this name thing is what the game of Nigerian government against the Igbo. So we have to be aware of it. The entire Southeast is now South-South. You see that? There was Eastern region, then they made us East Central, and then Southeast. The entire Southeast now, before, is now South-South. Non-existing geographical point, which includes former Western and Midwest states of Edo. Yeah, now this one now went from being South-South, they went and added another Western groups like Edo and Delta, made it now part of South-South, along with states named Cross River and Rivers. They started, no, what do we name this? This one is River, the other one is crossing the river. So they have to, name it, which are not ethnic or indigenous names. These are not ethnic or indigenous names. Because if you give them ethnic and indigenous name, that will definitely give that attachment we have to each other. It will be there. But they did it to confuse the people that are there. But we are here in Radio Biafra International to dislodge all these machinations. We are here to make sure we expose the plots and conspiracies that are going on against our people. And we encourage them to stand up for it. So all of a sudden, states that are in former Western region will come in and become so-called South-South, Cross River and Rivers, which are not ethnic or indigenous names. Yet the Igbo are in these states and strongly related to other ethnic groups in it. Hence the similarities in culture and traditions. The Ibibio are strongly related to the Igbo and Efik. Again, South-South is not a geographical point. Why is Cross River, which is east of the so-called South, is called South-South? Going by Nigerian geopolitical jargons, it should be called East-East. That's what it should be now. If you're going to go by jargon, Cross River should be East-East because it's east of the East, isn't it? Yeah, that's in Nigeria. Only in Nigeria is South in the north of Southeast. Can you imagine? Because when you have Edo, which is in South-South, is now in the north of Southeast. So only in Nigeria we have something that is called South, then it is in the north of Southeast. This is South in the north of South. That is, confusion everywhere. Confusion everywhere. It's unbelievable. Only in Nigeria is South in the north of Southeast. In other words, this South is in the north of another South. Bakassi, a peninsula on the Bight of Biafra, was signed off by Gowon to Cameroon in a wartime agreement, and Obasanjo handed over the peninsula in August 14, 2008. And these are people who tell you to keep Nigeria one. Is a task. Nigeria is no longer one when it comes to workers. But you can't sign off there to Cameroon. Thank God that now in Amazonia, they're fighting to come back to their own people. Bakassi inhabitants are mainly Oron people. Possible linguistic transition from Uruan people, the people of Cross River and State and Akwa Ibom State. That's why they're Biafran. They carry Biafran flags today and they're fighting for their indigenous. So indigenous Igbo people inhabit 14 states against 5 promoted by the British colonists and Fulani hijacked government of Nigeria. Let me mention some of them again for you. These states are Anambra. In Anambra, you have Igbo and Igala spoken in Anambra State. Igbo and Igala are official languages in Anambra State. So we talk about Igala, people know what I'm telling you. Everybody knows his ancestry. Enugu, Imo. Number 4, Abia. Number 5, Ebonyi. Number 6, Delta. Going by the names I've given us. Anioma, Oshimila, Aniocha, Kwan, Ndokwa, Ika. They're all Igbo people. 7, Edo, Ibanke people. Ibake. And there, and Igoromigodo, they are all Igbo people. Kogi, Igodo means key. Igodo means key. Same thing in their land. It means they have 4 market days like us. They do tradition they call Igwe. They call it Igwe, I-G-U-E. People, these are Do Igbo because we lacked the knowledge of Igbo that migrated from the West. And recently you have the Oni saying that the Igbo were lived in Ife. They are the first settlers in Ife. Want to debunk all this trash against us as a people. Because if we keep quiet, everybody will believe these things. So Kogi, we have Igala. Rivers. You know that Rivers, 85 to 90% of them are Igbo. You know, that's the others have Igbo blood. You know, yeah, Rivers, Egbe Maiche, Oba, Omuma, Ndoni, Ikwere, Okrika, Ekpeye, Obibo, Boni, which means Obani. Odonopobo itself. So, etc. They're all Igbo. 10, Bayelsa has Ose, Kwenike, Abueto, Eke, Okri villages, all in Sabama local government area. All we are in Obuya local government area, and all we are in Brass. These are in Bayelsa. These are examples of Igbo. Akwa Ibom, Ibibio, Ibonta. Cross River. Oh, yes. There is Cross River, there is Isobo in Cross River. There is RBi local government, which we have them. Cross River, they are there, and then Efik, the connections to Igbo are just there. Igede, Obubra, they are all part of people who are in Cross River. Boki, these people do New Yam Festival. Their leader of Boki is called Ochibe. Chibe means leader. Cross Rivers, Efik people migrate from Uruan in Ibibio land. So any country relatives of the Ibibio who are related to the Igbo. Idu is capital of Uruan in Akwa Ibom. 13 is Benue. You know, Benue. Mentioned 12 here. Cross River, number 12. And then 13 is Benue. The Igbo found in Benue are called Umuezeokoha. Umuezeokoha. They have a name. Umu, children of Ezeokoha. And are over 1 million in population in a state estimated at 4 million by 2006. They are found in these local government areas. Ado, Agatu. See where the Fulani are massacring our people? You want us to keep quiet about all this. Apa, Gwa, Obadibo, Ohimini, Ubi, Oju, Opoku, and Otupo. Benue State is inhabited predominantly by the Tiv, Idoma, and Igede. That is the major groups. Yeah, Idoma and Igede are mainly Igbo. Aside the Tiv, the other two are close relatives of the Igbo. Of the 18 local government areas, Igbo, Idoma, Igala, and Igede inhabit 10 out of the 18 local government areas in Benue State. 10 are Igbo. And Nazarawa, Arago people, Alago, they called it too, and Agatu. This is in Nazarawa. The Alago are in Obi, Nazarawa, Kiana, and Doma local government areas. while the Agatu are in Obi, Nazarawa, and Toto local government area. So there is the Arago, who are Nazarawa. They are from Idoma. They are Igbo people. Nazarawa State. We are even in Nupe. There's no way why someone is answering some Da Isaiah. Nda is Igbo now. What are you talking about? This is original Igbo. Congo Igbo. This is our what do you call it? Ado Igbo people. They come from all that. So politics of identity and conquest is what we're discussing here. So we understand how identity is being applied towards conquest, towards defeating you, towards subduing you, towards giving, because when they give you different names, you feel differently towards each other. Then the power and the synergy of working together will now be lessened. When they cut it up, down, you will react in a ways that you're not supposed to react towards your brother. They take advantage of that division and then conquer it. That's why they call it divide and conquer. You understand it? It has been applied historically by the Europeans who went to conquer different parts of the world. Once they come into place, they join one group and conquer the other ones. Then when they have conquered the other ones, they know they have superior arms and ammunition. Of course, you that they used, you're subdued under them as well. That is the point of divide and conquer. This is what Fulani is applying in Nigeria. But we in Radio Biafra International are speaking out so that that does not work. Once people know, you'll frustrate their plot, and that way we can be free. So politics of identity and conquest. States where, for example, let's say states where Hausa are indigenous or language significantly spoken. For example, because Fulani doesn't have any land in Nigeria. So states where Hausa influence is like Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Niger, Taraba, Katsina, Kano, Jigawa, Kaduna, Bauchi, and Borno. These are where you have Hausa being spoken. But Fulani, who came in conquest, now began to spread. Until Fulani began to spread from places like Sokoto in 1804. Kebbi, Yobe, Niger, Taraba, Katsina, Kano, Jigawa, Kaduna, Bauchi, and Borno. From having no states, the Fulani now is in control of 12 states in the north. So you see the plot of the Fulani right there. It's very clear for you, before everybody. From having no states at all, Fulani now is in control of 12 states in the north. The only difference in this list is that Hausa is spoken in Zamfara, but the Fulani is not significantly spoken. But their political leaders are mainly Fulani. They are political leaders. They always lead when they come to a place. It's about conquest. These are people who sneaked or crept into Hausa land in 1804, just 200 years ago, and soon began a conquest campaign. The conquered Hausa states were Gobert, Katsina, Daura, Zamfara, Kebbi, Kanu, Zauzau. These were Hausa states that they conquered. Persons from Uthman Danfodio family were imposed on them as emirs. This is the reason why all of the emirs and virtually all governors in northern Nigeria today are Fulani cousins. So when they're telling you not, do you understand their position with that not? That is people they are conquered, that they are using to make themselves look bigger in the eyes of people. Even Esu Nupe, the traditional ruler of Nupe people, is Fulani. They went and conquered Nupe. Nupe was conquered in 1808. Bida, the seat of Nupe kingdom, is now an emirate. Can you imagine that? They propose to say, that's what they want to do in Imo. Yeah. Nupe are mainly in Niger State and significant in Kogi and Kwara too. So Nigeria has one of the largest Muslim populations in West Africa. Islam was into, that's what they say, they claim. Yeah, if you do the real mathematics, it's not correct. Islam was introduced in northern Nigeria as early as the 11th century and was well established in the major capitals of the region by the 16th century, spreading into the countryside and toward the middle belt, uplands. So for Kanuri are also only found in 9 states. They are Borno, Yobe, Kano, Jigawa, Kaduna, Niger, Plateau, Adamawa, and Taraba. So Kanuri share Borno, Yobe, Kano, Jigawa, Niger, Kaduna, Taraba with Fulani and Hausa, excluding Plateau and Adamawa. Now, this is the placement of these ethnic groups where they are. So you can see the states where they have a little bit of significant presence. Now, let's look at, remember, is the politics of identity that we are talking about here. The Middle Belt, and in the, they talk about Nigeria speaking 371 languages. but at least up to 300 of them are in the north. But Fulani will tell you that the northern states have said so and so. Give me a break. It's not true. They are using other people. And other people have to wake up to resist these people. They are very few in number. So Middle Belt states affected by this stealth jihad and Niger, Kaduna, at least Southern Kaduna is free from that. And that's why they're fighting Southern Kaduna to conquer Southern Kaduna. That's what's going on. It's all jihad. Plateau, Adamawa, Taraba, we must add also that 40% of Borno State were Christians before Boko Haram launched this jihad to sweep them out of the place. The Women's Commission was set up in 1954 in southern Nigeria to allay minority fears, as they called it, but was never replicated in the north, where there are over 130 different languages. You see? Now we know that they said there are 300 languages, but they add dialects eventually. But there were 130 as at the time of 1950s. So today, by Nigerian government estimate, as published in Vanguard News of Wednesday, May 10, 2017, there are a total of 371 languages in Nigeria. It will be expedient to approximate these numbers because some are dialects spoken across different regions, but with relatively recent linguistic roots. About 300 languages in the north, 60 languages in the southeast, and 11 languages in the southwest. Can you see that? So after at least we're using their own publication and numbers, 371 languages. But there are 300 languages in the north, 60 languages in the southeast, and 11 languages in the southwest. I think the reason why you have these languages popping up is, I think, due to marriage customs. So sometimes some people, is the woman that is leader of the family. So when you intermarry in different ways with people, you create new languages, definitely, because languages mix up, and then when they fuse together, new languages emerge from them. And then if you examine them, you will see where it comes from. It's like, let's say Bantu. If you look at Bantu languages, you see the connections in them because the phonetics or the themes or the phonemes that create the words, the syntax also of different of the languages, you see similarities in them. Those linguistic similarities are there to show you, give you an indication of the connectedness of these languages. So you have here, there are benefits of smaller units of governance, obviously. So eventually, we have 60 languages in the southeast and 11 languages, but there are 300 in the north. But that north is, Fulani will come and speak to it that it's just one. There is them that are all over the north. That's not true. These people play a lot of games, So it says here, but there is 60 languages in the southeast and 11 languages in the southwest. So we seek to allay minority fears in the south with an approximation of 70 different languages, but not north, with about 300 languages. So why did the British government set to allay minority fears in the south, which has about 70 languages, but didn't set up a commission to allay minority fears in the north, which has about 300 languages? That shows you the British game that is going on there. There are benefits of smaller units of governance, but do not be deceived by their labels and names to divide and conquer us. Let us physically, geopolitical divisions done with an insidious, let us note, physical geopolitical divisions done with an insidious intent, not alienate you from your brothers and sisters. Do not allow physical and geopolitical divisions divide us, because when they do, we become weaker. And when we become weaker, the enemy takes advantage of that. As we can see our condition now because of it. As we can see our conditions. What is appropriate about arbitrarily, through military decrees, creating states without legitimate consultations, giving more representatives at the National Assembly to the north, you see that, than the west and east, which were equal regions? What is appropriate about running a constitution forged in 1999 by Abdul Salami Abubakar and his Islamic jihadist cohorts? Is a constitution not supposed to represent the people's will? Why adopt a criminally forged document as representing the people's will? If there has always been Sharia, why its invocation and activation in 1999 when Obasanjo became president? Sharia bans alcohol, but government takes VAT on it. There are so many things Sharia bans that Christians cannot practice in the North. Supposedly their own country. You see that? It means they cannot operate in a large portion of their country as citizens. Nigeria must be divided. It must collapse because of these irreconcilable differences between its disparate people. I would like to bring Mazi Amef Lukando, our own able listener, to make his contributions on this and where we are going thus far in this country regarding current events. Mazi Ahamef Lukando, if I can be connected with him, I'll be very, very glad, because we are all running a course together as a people, and we must know that. Mazi Ahamef Lukando, if I can.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mazi Mogalo. The encyclopedia of Nigeria. I'm really, really enjoying the program, all the facts we are presenting. And by the way, to members of the panel for today, I welcome you. Chuksi Kedigwe, the always trusted man. And Mazi Anem, and you know yourselves. I'm very, very pleased to join the broadcast this morning. Thank you again for all the detailed account you are given. And based on that, I really don't want to say so much, but to say things in the present context of what Massimo Alo has been saying. The good news is that there is nobody today in Nigeria and almost part of the world that does not even understand what has been going on in Nigeria. The Fulanis have deceived us a long time, but they are now jittery, having known that the people of the Igbos, the Biafrans are working very well with our brothers and sisters from the West, Yorubas and so on. We have always been in loggerhead for a long time, which were seeds of discord that were implanted by the Fulanis. Thank God today we are aware. People are now working very well with them, and recently the people of the Middle Belt, they have come openly, both their youths and their elders and intelligentsias, they have come openly to really apologize for how they were used against us during the war. So with that in place, we just have to focus right now on how we can now respond to what is going on. We know that the federal government has been, the security men have been going around and picking up our boys who have not done anything, and they're killing them and all kinds of things, putting them in jail. Those are the areas of interest for us. And the other thing is making sure that our people work together. I read an article yesterday that was very disturbing. In one of the forums, writing, it was too obnoxious for somebody to write who says he's a Biafran or an Igbo or anything of that nature. I just want to call attention to such things, because when you do or write such things, it's like you are an agent of the federal government. We don't want that. You don't want to be perceived as such. It was really, really abhorrent that I had to reply to it immediately. And, I'm still waiting for the person to reply so that we can continue the exchange of the dialogue. There is nothing else really to say. It's just that to say that I am happy what is going on. The truth is really emanating. The only area, the people that I'm still very concerned about is our brothers and sisters from the South, who have not declared exactly their position. We are living it in the limbo, and it's a subject of discussion right now. It's going on in different forums. Where are they? Do they belong to us? But unfortunately, they had already had a protest about a week ago or so, whereby they were declaring that they are not Igbos. So these are things we must address. For us Igbos, we have suffered a lot. It is time for us to take our own position to defend our land and our future. That's where I'm going to leave it for now. It is very, very disturbing. When the updates, the exchange is still going on. It is something for us to think about and really know what we are going to do, especially when we are in the broadcast. We'll know exactly what we are going to disseminate. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you, our own able veteran, Amefu Kando. This is a Biafran in Toto who fought at the time that there was a siege, as Mazi Ejiofortune, what I will put it, the Third World War. They fought in the Third, that Biafran War. That's it. It was the Third World War. I love the way Mazi Ejiofortune puts it, you know. And he fought in it. Our people are very brave people. God has given them the sense of valor, you know, and all glory be to God for that. And Mazi Ameflukande is one of them. And he's talking about the South. You know, Mazi Chuksikedi, I would like you to contribute on what you think about this South. You know, this is why we share this information, so that our people can be able to comprehend better who they are in terms of their identity. The identity politics going on in Nigeria. You know, some people seem to be instigating the South. You know, that's what the president mentioned. That he said he mentioned some traditional rulers, and we tell them, look, these traditional rulers, I mean, they give them oil money from their own chicken change, and then they'll come out there and sing, "Oh yeah, we are not Igbo," because they want everything not to be Igbo. That's the point. Including Igbo people, they don't want us to be Igbo. They don't want us to be Biafra. They don't want to. So what they're wanting for you, whom they say, "Oh, you belong to South," you have to understand the game. Otherwise, you make mistake. I'm happy that a lot of them are understanding it. They are for Biafrans. They pronounce it very easily, openly. So, but they're bribing because they always believe in bribing and you know what do I call it? Ruses and wiles. That's how the Fulani are. They just use all kinds of terrible games to blackmail people. You know, put them in a position where they are forced to, you know, take certain decisions which are nonsense they will not. So they put their money there. They give them money. People need money, isn't it? So once they give you, then you have to speak and say, "Oh, no, we are not with the Igbo." But the vast majority of people, they refuse referendum in all these places because they don't want to ask the people. It's like Nigeria always says. They say something like, Nigerians have decided to, you see all President Babangida or Abdul Salam Abubakar or Obasanjo, they'll meet somewhere and say, Nigerians have decided that they want the country to be, Nigerians have decided. Where did Nigerians decide? Are you now Nigerians? All of you are now the Nigerians. You're speaking for the whole of, that doesn't make sense. Put the referendum down. But their greatest fear is referendum, where they have to ask the people what they believe, because they don't want what the people believe to reign. They want what they on their own beliefs to reign. That is what they want. Their own belief is for selfish interest, to continue to exploit the oil money that belongs to other people, because they're criminals, they're thieves, and referendum is the way to go. But they all run away once you mention referendum in Nigeria. Mention referendum in Nigeria, that's it. Discussion is over. These people are unbelievable, very unscrupulous people, including their journalists. Mention referendum, they don't talk about that either. They don't ask the government, why don't you allow referendum? They can't answer that question. That's Nigeria for you. If you're there.
Yeah, Master, thank you once more for bringing me in. Sorry, let me apologize first in case where I am is noisy. Just accept it for now. I'm in a noisy place now. But telling you about this, and I know when this struggle started, these people never for one day had anything. They never ever in their wildest dream believe that they will come up be talking about referendum. But we thank God that they're beginning to hear. Thank God some northern groups are saying, give the Igbos, listen to the word they are saying, give the Igbos or give the South. But they're saying the Southeast, give the Southeast referendum, give them Biafra 2 referendum. They are making it look as if what we are fighting for just the five eastern states, and that's the criminality of these people. This is what they're aiming at, and that's what we must fight against. If there's any other thing that we must fight against, making it look as if the struggle is about the 5 east states. In fact, I was reading an article by one of these northerners. I can't remember his name now, but I was thinking of making a rejoinder. He was saying that that our struggle is a misadventure, and he says that it's sure it will only be limited to the 5 east states, 5 southern east states. That Igbos in Benue, Kogi, Edo, Delta, as Cross River and the other will not said it before that they will not join us. And in the proposed rejoinder I was trying to do, I was saying, who told you? When did they tell him? Because I've never had them discuss with him. Go and tell the this thing in Benue that they will join. Go and tell the Igbos in Benue, the five or at least 5 local governments, go and tell them that they won't join the Igbos or that they are not Igbos. They will beat the person up. But this is where the people want to tell the whole Nigerians and everything that these people will not join because they've told them. When did they tell them? We never did any of this kind of thing. But the reality is that is when he sues them, the South becomes Igbo. When it's about telling us about the 1966 coup, Nzogo automatically becomes an Igbo person. After that, when he sues them, oh, the South is no more Igbo. And that's the mentality that we are dealing with here. Is when he sues them that this will become Igbo. When he sues them, this one doesn't. In fact, one day they will come to my grave to tell me that we are not Igbo after we are very close to Kogi State, that we are not Igbo. This is the mentality that these people are having. And if there's anything, our people must begin to fight these people. And speaking up is what matters. It's unfortunate that most of these our people, they are quiet. I understand why they are quiet, because when they say Igbo, they begin to marginalize them. And that's why it's very important that referendum we expose this carnality, to expose this evil mentality that these people are trying to build. If they say the Igbos, they will be marginalized. So give them a referendum where there will be no repercussions after their vote. You will see there will be at least 97% vote, and that's what they're trying to run away from saying. That's why we always make it look and say, oh, it's all about 5 states, because they know any day they put it to a vote, the whole South side, the whole Igbos in order. In fact, even our cousins who are not Igbo, we come out to tell them that we are going with these people. That's why they will never put it into a referendum. That's why they will build this illusion that these guys are not Igbo. But whenever I choose them, we become Igbo. Whenever I choose them, the Okpanamo people, the DCs and the DCs become Igbo. Whenever they're talking about the 1966 coup, every other person becomes Igbo. It was an Igbo key, was an Igbo key. Immediately after that, oh, these people are no longer, because they told them the day they will never mention. Who told them they will never mention? But they will make it present it as if, oh, these people actually discussed with us. They came to us and they promised us that we are not Igbos. In fact, that their root is from Benin. These are crazy mentalities. They know the truth, and they may like to fight the truth, but the truth is the truth will always come to manifestation, because you can never cover the truth, and that's the area we are getting to. Let's keep. Sometimes I decide to make them believe that these people will not join. But the right is that they know that any day is put on road, these people will join us, because a blood is thicker than water anywhere you go. An Igbo person knows it's an Igbo. I may deny it if I may deny. Some people might deny that Igbo-ness is that threatened. But in reality, when they are comfortable, when there's no repercussion for them, for them accepting their Igbo-ness, they will accept it, and accept it even for their great grandparents and everything. There's nobody that wasn't told the story about how they came to be. They can only tell you, oh, but because of this thing, don't say you are not Igbo. I remember one of the Nigerian actress telling us that today her name is, they changed their surname. Why? Because their surname used to be Ojukwu. But because of the reason that contains Ojukwu, each time we met on Ojukwu, the Hausas would think they are from Ojukwu family, and they were threatening that they had to change their surname. Okay, and because of that, that's why they are not being Ojukwu. That's why most of them would deny they are not even Igbo because of it. I'm telling them, and even the lady later came out to confess this is exactly what happened. I'm telling you that any day a real referendum is held without repercussions and every other, this vast majority of our people will come out and speak the truth, and the truth will set them free, because at that day they'll be free from this Nigeria and their freedom will come that day. But until we get to that day, because we are really getting there now, because everybody is knowing that even if they say, okay, we are going with the 5 Southeast states, let's even say yes, we are going with it. But we never leave any of our causes, we never leave any of our Igbo people, we never, any of our causes, we never leave them. As far as they are willing to come with us, and I know they are willing to come with us, but until that day, let them keep pretending. Let Buhari keep calling us dust in a circle. Let others keep saying that we don't have access to the river. We know all these things, we know where we will end. It will end in freedom for Biafrans and every other person that wish to come with us. Thank you. I still stay behind.
Thank you, man. Kedigwe, for that analysis. Before we wrap it up in the next 15 minutes, something I want to also share for us to understand the origin and connections that we have with our neighbors. It's 708 and 800s AD, 8 to 9 centuries ago. It witnessed a great population movement after the disintegration of Adonidu. Adonidu are Igbo people from the western part, migration. Remember, the Oni spoke about Igbos living in Ife. They were the first settlers in Ife. So Obi of Onitsha said himself. So, and then from that Adonidu emerged people like Ibira, Igala, Iyala, and Idoma. And look at their names, how they sound similar. Ibira, Igala, Yala, and Idoma. See that? Yeah. There are migrations from Adonidu. All the dialects spoken in Ado, with the exception of the Igala has part of it that is migration from Adonidu. So it said, all the dialects spoken in Ado, of which Igbo was the central one, had since developed into several languages. You remember that they developed. They and some Nupe communities still retain certain cultural aspects of their Igbo relatedness. Nupe communities. There's Igbo in Nupe. That's what we're telling you today. So those who are asking, oh, why, 14 states? Where is it the 14 states? Yeah, we're telling you right now. So you can wake up, because it's going to happen. We're not going to leave our people in Nupe. For your information, we're going with them. This is Biafra. Now, there are some Nupe communities who retain certain cultural aspects of their Igbo relatedness. These can be found in names of places, persons, male circumcision, 4-day week or market days, and Igbo emblem of authority. The Ofo and Ikenga as a symbol of personal aspiration, achievement, and age grade in the social order. There is the earth deity as ultimate sanction in enforcing the rules of the land or proper conduct among the citizenry. The ritual blood covenant of Ibandu, by whatever name called, as the basis of indissoluble intercommunity and interpersonal relationships, and certain linguistic factors such as place and personal names, titles, words, and phrases which are common to Igbo and these communities. Our people are in all those places as indigenous people, and we must respect this reality. Nigeria has no option other to respect it. So, but we need Nigerians to be ready to save themselves. In fact, there is a group in Niger State that wants to break up Niger State, led by some politicians, and I think the name is Edu State. You see, Edu, like Edu State. You have people like Jerry Ghana speaking for that Edu State. That's partly the Ado people who are Igbo. They went there, and because of Fulani conquest and colonization, some of them took names that are not even, close to their destiny. That's what conquest and cultural conquest does. Just like you see some of people take English names or Christian names. Christianity is not about conquest, though, but about evangelism. But then, but politically, there is a political conquest. So you see how people take English names. Answer Habat, or Innocent. These are not native names, they are English names. Patrick, you know. So it's same thing you see Fulani do to so many communities in the north. And then they borrow sometimes Hausa names or, you know. But that doesn't mean they are from there. That doesn't mean they are related even to the Hausa or Fulani people. They're people from one in Edo State. Can you imagine answering Ahmed or answering Musa? So that is the problem. You know, we need to call our people's mind back to themselves, to the original identity, so that they cannot be deceived by the identity politics of their enemies. Now, there are some other news I want to briefly talk about before we close, and which we promised and highlighted in our information. One of them is about World Igbo Congress and what they have said regarding the killings of Igbo. World Igbo Congress denounces declared war on Southeast. It says Chairman, Board of Directors of World Igbo Congress, was Anthony Ejiofor, has lamented, this was in Guardian of 24th May 2021, has lamented the comments credited to the Acting Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, during the unveiling of Operation Restore Peace in the Southeast. He specifically chided the IGP over his comments in which he directed police officers not to wait for the agitators and criminals to come to them, but take the battle to them. The first stressed that the IGP's comment was not the prescription for peace, and that the police boss cared less if his directive could agitate Southeasterners who desired to visit their home states. As the chief law enforcement agent of Nigeria, the IGP did not bother about the killer herdsmen who engaged in banditry, killing, and kidnapping in the country. He has not ordered a shoot on sight on those carrying AK-47 in the Northeast, but instead the criminals are paid and rehabilitated to fight their enemies in the South. So you can see why this is a terrorist government. We're not just saying it's a terrorist government. Their actions have proven it before everybody. The World Igbo Congress wants immediate deployment of the acting IGP since he has succeeded in deploying terror in the Southeast. The final onslaught to annihilate our people has started. The Buhari government imported foreign invaders and gave them access to invade the Imo State prison in their attempt to unleash terror and start killing innocent Igbo youths who are clamoring for good governance, he stated. He lamented that unknown gunmen are on a killing spree in the high hinterlands, disrupting local vigilantes and Eastern Security Network from securing Igbo land. Okay, I say that the unknown gunmen are doing a good job of fighting those who are killers. You can see them moving around. They don't shoot innocent people. Yeah, they shoot those who are with guns in uniform and who are killers, mass murderers. They're terrorists in the name of Nigerian army and police. So, like, the president is a terrorist himself. So there is no reason why we should keep dealing with them like they are actually president or they are actually military. They are terrorists. They want to kill us. We cannot allow them to kill us and walk away free. No, it doesn't make sense. Self-defense is a right of everybody. So please defend yourself from people who are killing you. It's as simple as that. The World Igbo Congress and coalition of all diaspora Igbo organizations are troubled by the IGP's comment. He added, wondered how many operatives Operation Restore Peace the Nigerian police have declared in the Northeast, Zamfara and Niger states, where Boko Haram has foisted alien flags, adding that it was time the federal government stopped pursuing shadows and face reality in the Northeast. So then the next news says that Insurgency, so that was a good information press statement that was put out by the World Igbo Congress. So it says Insurgency, 2,295 teachers killed, 1,400 schools destroyed in Northeast since 2009. Unicef and EU are reporting that. You see, UNICEF and EU are reporting that. United, this is by Bashir Bello, and this is from Vanguard of June the 4th, 2021. It says here, United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF and European Union, EU, on Friday said no fewer than 2,295 teachers have lost their lives, while 1,400 schools were destroyed in Northeast Nigeria since 2009, and as a result of insurgency. So you don't see the president trying to speak to them in the language they understand, because these are government. They've killed 2,295 teachers. These are teachers. These are people without guns, people who are not a threat to anybody. It's not like their own police officers or army who have carry guns and kill innocent people. They are Boko Haram terrorists in uniform. So, these are teachers that they've killed, and they've destroyed 1,400 schools. But the president is not going to speak to them in the language they understand. That is why that place is a big joke that you call a country. It is not one at all. It's a jungle. And any day, your best bet as a human being is to work towards is complete disintegration, so people can be free. People must be free, and there is no other option. Let me read this again. It says from 1980 to 2019, the Stephanos Foundation records shows a total of 1,785 attacks in 32 states of the country. This led to let me read the numbers again. 1,785 attacks in 32 states. In 32 states of Nigeria, of the country. This led to this Stephanos Foundation is an independent foreign organization, so it's not something that is partisan here. So this led to the death of not less than 28,878 innocent people. Wow. In 121 Muslim riots in 19 states, 121 Muslim riots. Not Christian riots, not traditional religion riots, not Buddhist riots, 121 Muslim riots. These people are rioters. In 19 states, the death was 9,451 lives occurred. Also, Boko Haram militant groups were responsible for 701 attacks, 701. It is not 1, it's not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 701. I want this to sink into you. Attacks from Boko Haram claimed 12,812 lives in 15 states. And up till today, no one has been brought to book. This is information coming from Samson Ayokunle, the president of the Christian Association of Nigeria. Up till today, no one has been brought to book. So, where is the government? Where is the government? Nobody's speaking to them in a language they understand. Note that. Again, 963 attacks, 963 attacks from Fulani militant groups in 32 states, all over the country. But nobody is speaking to them in a language they understand. Militant groups in 32 states were responsible for 6,615 deaths. This is Fulani terrorists. And up till today, no one has been brought to book. Instead, it is those who cried out that were subjected to state harassment. A few suspects arrested were later free to continue with their atrocities. It was the federal government that was justifying the killings of the citizens by accusing some governors of making laws against open grazing. They claimed that the killings were not genocide against Christians, but farmer-siders clash. That's what they claim. In the light of the current development and the circumstantial facts surrounding the prevailing upsurge of attacks against the church, it will be difficult for us to believe that the federal government under the present administration is not colluding with the insurgents to exterminate Christians in Nigeria, bearing in mind the very questionable leadership of the security sector that has been skewed towards a religion and a region. Samson Ayokunle, President, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, speaking at the World Press Conference on Thursday, January 23, 2020, at the National Christian Center, Abuja, in Nigeria. I would like to invite before we close, Oziome to speak to our listeners, since we have just about 2 minutes to round up. Thank you so much. Sister Oziome.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, lovers of freedom, Biafrans all over the world, the panelists, the esteemed panelists that were on the radio today. Thank you all so much for all the work you do. It's really appalling what's going on in Nigeria. It's the government is terrorist and genocidal. From all aspects of what, you don't just take what people say, you take what they do. Action speaks louder than voice. Boko Haram has been ravaging the Nigerian states, Imo State has been there. It's like a constant, they keep harassing and strangulating and making life just impossible for the eastern states. But they've been ravaging even the states in the north, because all they know is kill people that oppose them so they can establish their Islamic jihad reign. That's all they know. And the sooner we all get that in our skull heads and work together and attack the bully, give him what he deserves as a unit, we all need to work together and face the common enemy. And that's only the language that will solve all these issues. We don't need to be fighting among ourselves, killing each other. No. Take it to where the bully is. Take whatever fight you have to the bully. Stop messing around in the East. It doesn't help us at all. You go to where the bully is and give them the fight they deserve. And that's the only language they understand. The ones that are fighting have no knowledge of, and all they know is to fight and kill. Because they've either been promised something or given something or told something that they bought. So we need to stop fighting among ourselves. And when I mean all of us, it includes all the states. It's like now all the 5 other regions in Nigeria are being harassed. Every other region that doesn't allow open grazing is like they call the Eastern region a dot in the circle. So it includes everybody that doesn't agree with what they're doing. And if you speak, you become a target. And we don't have to tell them what we're doing. We just need to plan and go to work. Let's plan and go to work. You don't have to expose your plans to the enemy. But it's time the bully gets what he deserves. And I'm gonna make this short. And I thank you all. We all know still that God is on our side. And once we have God, we have majority. But we have to do our part. We have a part to play. So let's play our part and allow God to play his part. There are things God will not do because it's already set up. We have to do what we need to do and then allow him do what he needs to do too. So let us all, march together as a unit, put our differences aside and attack the bully as a unit, on one front. The sooner we do that, the better all this will be taken care of. Okay, thank you all, everyone. I thank all our engineers and all our esteemed panelists, our veteran Mazo Okando. Chuksi Kedigwe, thank you so much. Mazi Anemene, thank you. And Odim Mogalo, thank you guys. You guys are doing an awesome job. So let's continue fighting until we win, because we have to win this war. People say they don't want to fight, but the war is already there. And when the person brings a war to you, you just have to defend yourself. So let's all keep defending ourselves and figure out how to take this front to where the station, the central place is, so we can end this faster. Thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you very much, our sister, and the true Biafran, heart to heart. Thank you for that advice. Our people, you've heard it. We must be doing something. Nobody should sit down and be doing nothing and simply be talking. The talking part is important, but do something. We have to put our faith into action. That is what makes us Biafrans. That is what makes us the people who fear God, the people who worship God, because we do what is right. We stand with righteousness. Eschew idolatry. Stop thinking that this life is about things and that is all, because that will make you act the wrong way. You begin to act like Fulani people with time. So to act in a way that is righteous. It is our wish that Fulani people will repent But if you look at them, I don't know, I'm like, God, if you can do it, that would be fantastic. If they can, but people really just don't repent like that without their admitting that they are wrong and what they're doing and then turning away from it. That's very, very important in terms of access or repentance. But they are not doing it. So the blood, that innocent blood they shed, will speak up against them and they will have it coming to them. That's it. They will never win. Be sure of that, because evil never wins. The truth does, and goodness. So remember the broadcasts we have today about criminalization of human rights, criminalization of self-esteem. We must resist that, particularly from Nigerian media. But don't start a lot. You remember what Otom said about Fulanization, which is fueling the crisis in Nigeria. Fulanization has been there since 1804. They Fulanized the rest of the north. Now they want to Fulanize the middle belt and the southwest and southeast as well. So remember the message of World Igbo Congress, very, very important. And the insurgency, how it has killed 2,295 teachers and destroyed 1,400 schools. From 2009 in the northeast, and that's it. And this is Unicef and EU speaking about it. And there is no revulsion in the Nigerian media about the destruction of killing teachers and destroying schools. They are rather turning your eye to the east and telling you about that destroying police stations and this. The people that the police are killing and the military are killing, they never mention that. So it's this skewed, evil information system in Nigeria that we want you to avoid, because they want you to criminalize the Igbo again. Give the dog a bad name in order to hang it. But the Biafrans are up today, and we cannot accept that at all. Remember what we said about identity politics. Do not allow them to destroy you with this identity politics of screwing you against your neighbor, making you fight your enemy and making you accept, oh, I'm Nigerian, so you can fight your enemy and destroy your enemy, or you destroy yourselves. Then they themselves will take over. Because when you have done that, you're not going to rule over the Fulani. They will rule over you. That is what they do. As we look at in Nigeria now, they're ruling over everybody in Nigeria, isn't it? Isn't it? So know who you're fighting. Otherwise, we will remain, we will become or remain as serfs to them. But it will not be possible because the God of Israel lives. I use this opportunity to thank our sister Ozioma Eme, to thank Amefulu Kando, Chuksi Kerigwe, and our engineer who is at the anchor and the base of this broadcast all over the world, making it possible, our own Leo Anemena. He is a communication and information expert, a communication and information expert that is exceptional. And we thank God for his life, that you all are doing this for the love of God and for your people. From me here, my name is Odimo. It is goodbye and God bless you, and see you next time.
Well, sorry, you have already joined.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Oh yeah, Mr. Friday, equity, your boy. What we need is freedom. Agitation is all that we do. Not that freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, not peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down. Agitation is all that we do. Not that freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, not peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down.
I wake up in the morning to see people falling. I wake up in the morning to see army shooting. What are they shooting? And who is running? All of the soldiers that we might live. Come to Abia, there is bloodshed. The blood of the innocent are calling for revenge. Come to Abia, there is bloodshed. All of the soldiers that we might live. Come to Abia, there is bloodshed. Innocent souls are calling for revenge. Though we raise a flag, they shoot us down. Biafra, we stand and nothing more. But they are shooting, and we are dying. And we are marching out today in thousands. Though we speak out loud, they shoot us down. Biafra, we stand and nothing more.
Agitation is all that we do. Total freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, now peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down. Agitation is all that we do. Total freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, now peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down. Many things where they happen for Nigeria. Many things where they happen, I don't like them. Every day shooting and killing my brother. People dying like flies, it no good oh. Hey, I. Oh no, it no good oh. Killing innocent people fighting for the right, it no good oh. Our state is on fire now. All we need is our freedom. Hey, Baba God in the sky, I they call you. All the people of the east, I they hear you. Make we keep them on the move, we go make them. God helping us, all we go make them. Agitation is all that we do. Total freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, now peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down. Agitation is all that we do. Total freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, now peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down. Agitation is all that we do. Total freedom, now waiting we want. God, no, now peaceful contest. If you kill low, you don't send me down. Waiting we want on a total freedom. Waiting we need on a total freedom. Waiting we want on a total freedom. Oluwa oh, a total freedom. You don't send me down. You don't send me down. You don't send me down. If you kill low, you don't send me down.
This makes it simple.
Radio Biafra is proud to launch its new mobile app. This app makes it easier for listeners to access live and repeat broadcasts at any given time. The app is available on Android and Apple stores and is free to install, so just search for Radio Biafra into all one word to get the app on your device.
Radio Biafra International broadcasts are always anchored on well-researched information and not based on personalities, frivolities, and foul languages. The main objective of Radio Biafra International is to empower Biafrans and give them knowledge through professionally delivered information, education, and enlightenment towards the ultimate goal of restoration of the nation of Biafra.
So don't forget, Radio Biafra into all one word.
And join us during our podcasts, and you'll be glad you did.
Yes, this is not what cannot be built. All we want is Biafra people.
All we want is Biafra. we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. All we want is Biafra.
Where the neck and the beat. I am here calling you, oh Lord, praying to you, singing to you, oh Yahushua, because they made us slaves in our own land. I can remember once upon a time in the Bible where the Israelites used songs and prayers to bread on the wall of Jericho. This is the kind of miracle we need for our freedom. We know you can answer us as you answer Israelite, the days of their slavery. They might shoot us, they might kill us, bloodshed everywhere. Give us Biafra, give us freedom. Oh Lord, Yahushua, I call upon you.
All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom. All we want is Biafra. All we want is freedom.
Biafra, the land of the rising suns. Onye si n'ọgaga dị ndụ hụkwa ndị Igbo, alili gerishi ya o. Onye si n'ọgaga dị ndụ hụkwa Biafra, ili gerishi ya o. Anyị bụ ụmụ Chukwu okike abịa ma ihe anyị chọrọ bụ nwere onwe anyị. Anyị echeghị mmadụ ọbụla ụgwọ, onye biri ka ibe ya biri. Maka ebe bere ugo bere n'o, ọ bụkwa ọfọ n'ogu ka anyị ji aga. Ka anyị gbawa mbọ anya dara mba, anyị jisike anyị mmeri. Enye Igbo enye Igbo I will roll for you. I got to define a show. Chukwu okike kere eluigwe n'ụwa, nnabịa n'ụlọ olumo. Anyị enweghị Chukwu ọzọ ewezuga gị chịkwa ụzụ ndị agha. Anyị ebughị anya kọtọ gị, ihe anyị chọrọ bụ nwere onwe anyị. N'aka ndị nwere obi ọjọọ, n'aka ndị ama n'oke ọchịchọ. Ọsọkwa aka egburu egbe na mma, onweghị ya ga-emume Chukwu. Ọ bụzi mmadụ ole kunu ga-egbunu. Ihe anyị ma bụ oji ọfọ gala. Onye si n'ọgaga dị ndụ hụkwa ndị Igbo, alili gerishi ya o. Onye si n'ọgaga dị ndụ hụkwa Biafra, ili gerishi ya o. Anyị bụ ụmụ Chukwu okike abịa ma ihe anyị chọrọ bụ nwere onwe. Anyị echeghị mmadụ ọbụla ụgwọ, onye biri ka ibe ya biri. Maka ebe bere ugo bere n'o, ọ bụkwa ọfọ n'ogu ka anyị ji aga. Ka anyị gbawa mbọ anya dara mba, anyị jisike anyị mmeri. Enye Igbo enye Igbo I will roll for you. I got to define a show.
Radio Biafra is proud to launch its new mobile app. This app makes it easier for listeners to access live and repeat broadcasts at any given time. The app is available on Android and Apple stores and is free to install, so just search for Radio Biafra into all one word to get the app on your device.
Radio Biafra International broadcasts are always anchored on well-researched information and not based on personalities, frivolities, and foul languages. The main objective of Radio Biafra International is to empower Biafrans and give them knowledge through professionally delivered information, education, and enlightenment towards the ultimate goal of restoration of the nation of Biafra.
So don't forget, Radio Biafra into all one word.
And join us during our podcasts, and you'll be glad you did.
Igbo pụtala o, inezala Igbo anya pụtala o, itozi ọdịnala Igbo ndị na-eme nke ọjọọ, onwe dịka ọdịnala Igbo jọrọ njọ. Ndị bịara na-aba anyị mebi ife anyị, ejidere ha n'ọfọ. Ha ga-eri mbọmbọ n'ala Igbo ha ga-eri mbọmbọ mbombo n'ala Igbo ụmụ Igbo ala Igbo onye na-eme nke ọma jide nke iji mmadụ eje onye na-eme nke ọjọọ wepụ aka enwe n'ofe igbu mmadụ ife ala Igbo sọrọ nsọ iwere ihe mmadụ ibe gị ụkwụ ife ala Igbo sọrọ nsọ arụkwụsị 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 n'ala Igbo arụkwụsị 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 n'ala Igbo ụmụ Igbo Igbo bụ Igbo pụtala o imezi ala Igbo anyị apụtala o itozi ọdịnala Igbo ndị na-eme nke ọjọọ owe dịka ọdịnala Igbo jọrọ njọ ndị bịara na-aba anyị mebi ife anyị ejidere ha n'ọfọ a ga-eri mbọmbọ 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 n'ala Igbo a ga-eri mbọmbọ 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 n'ala Igbo ụmụ Igbo ala Igbo onye na-eme nke ọma jide nke iji mmadụ eje onye na-eme nke ọjọọ wepụ aka enwe n'ofe igbu mmadụ ife ala Igbo sọrọ nsọ iwere ihe mmadụ ibe gị ụkwụ ife ala Igbo sọrọ nsọ arụkwụsị 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 n'ala Igbo arụkwụsị 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 n'ala Igbo ụmụ Igbo ala Igbo
Biafra.
Oh God, for as much as we have thee, and we are not able to please thee, but mercifully grant that thy Holy Spirit directly rule and guide our military leader. Amen. Everyone I do, everyone I do, you believe me do, everyone I do, everyone I do, everyone I do, you believe me do, everyone I do.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people, you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Radio Biafra International, empowering the people.